Woohoo! We are live.
There we go.
Talking youth soccer.
Yeah, of course.
There was like no youth soccer. There was very little youth soccer when I was a youth in the 70s.
Mhm.
Started in the 80s. Now, like I said, I think youth soccer is the number one youth sport because it's easy and you don't get hurt. What I mean by easy is you need a field and a
Mhm.
ball. Um, and you don't get hurt doing it like football when you bash your head into things. I don't even think you're allowed to head the ball until you're a certain age.
Hmm. Well, here, there was the guy when I was in ninth grade. There was a guy who got transferred
Good evening,
as a
Captain
Captain
Kennedy.
Infinity.
Good evening, Missing Mars.
What's up? Uh, he was only because he was already he was actually already 16. In ninth grade, you're supposed to be 14, and officially you would have to complete high school even to become a pro soccer player because the clubs are mandated by law to ensure that the children get their education. Um, but he wasn't, so he ended up going to night classes. In the 90s, we still had night classes. Now nobody has night classes. I'm looking at I have my old high school in front of me, and now they don't turn on the lights at night, which means they probably don't have night classes anymore.
Well,
Um,
we had 8 periods in high school.
mm,
Each one could have a class, but you always had a lunch. So really, only 7.
no, night classes were for adults.
Oh, for adults.
But since he was 16, he was legally working as a junior soccer player. So he went to had night class for adults because he was employed. Um, but but he ended up becoming already at 16. He knew he was becoming a pro player. Eventually, he ended up playing in the United Kingdom. I don't know which team he played in the Premier League in England. So but I don't remember which team. That was like 15 years ago because he was 2 years older than me, so he's already retired. In fact, he's come back to the club here as the head coach. He, he was a mid-season replacement. But yeah, when you become a soccer player here, uh, if you're going pro, you already know it when you're a teenager.
Huh. Yeah, sports starts young these days.
That's why I thought it's really stupid that the fact that your professional sports in the U.S. have the kids being exploited in college and not making any money
Oh,
when
now they can get paid.
yeah.
As of 2-3 years ago, now there's something called NIL money,
Hmm.
which is name, image, likeness. So they can no longer exploit your name, image, and likeness without giving you money. So there's now top college quarterbacks making $5 million a year.
Okay, that's good.
And
I
this is
mean,
only in the last 2-3 years, I think it is.
okay.
So you can actually make money. And I know that there's a girl from my hometown here. I actually know her because when she was really small, she used to run like by my house, and I'd see like she's a runner,
Mhm.
and she became a top college runner in the country. And when the NIL started like 3 years, she might be out of college now. She could actually go professional and still be in college.
Mhm.
Before that, you couldn't compete at your college and be a professional runner.
Right.
No.
But here over here that's not an issue because youth sports are separate from your school. You don't. There are
Yeah.
no school sports. But you have sports in school. It's called PE. Uh, it's gym class. We don't have dodgeball. We actually play basketball here, in volleyball. But but here, yeah, you know so you've had it so finally you guys have a Jackie Coogan law
Yeah. Yeah.
for college players.
Iren Zero said there are always ways in which college kids got paid. Things like no-show college jobs and a whole. Yeah, but they weren't getting paid $5 million. That's for sure.
Like I
But yeah,
said,
there were for the top. They could, and it was all kind of a joke. Like you said, the colleges were exploiting them. Hello, hello there,
hey
Comics
Donald.
Progressive. I saw those hot stuff comics you got
Mm,
today. I was like, ooh, hot stuff. The
we, we,
Little
we,
Devil.
like we played yesterday in Canada. We beat Croatia in the World Cup, so we
I
have
saw
Cristiano
that
Ronaldo.
controversial erasure
Yeah,
of a goal.
yeah. So we have Cristiano Ronaldo. By 17, he was already making a six-figure salary,
Wow. Yep.
and and there was no college involved. He never went to college, of course. He didn't. He's a high school dropout, actually.
Neither did LeBron James. He went right to the pros. That's rarer in NBA, but it happens.
Hmm.
And it almost never happens in American football because they're not quite physically mature enough to play football. NFL. And speaking of, I just happened, I'm support modern comics. Last week when I was doing final order cutoff ordering, there are so many good comics out there. I already had 8 comics on my pull list, and there was like 7 more I wanted to order but couldn't. I was like, oh, 15 comics in one week is a little too expensive. But I was just like, you know what? There's so many good comics that there's another 7 that I could have ordered. Not to mention their Evening 62 Lefty Blues, Evening Wilson. There,
Hello.
there was final order cutoff. Another one I wanted to get, but I was like, it's $15, and I was like, eh. They're putting out a treasury size edition of George Perez drawn JLA 200.
I know nothing of that book.
Captain Infinity says, modern. This month I'm buying up back issues of Epic Illustrated. I still have all my Epic Illustrateds on my shelf. I've been meaning to go back and reread them since about 1993, and I still have.
Well, maybe you should do like you did with the Eclipse magazines.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. I'm going to pull them off and just put them out.
There's something that was serialized in Epic Illustrated. I know that DC collected it in a graphic novel back in the 90s, Generation Zero by Pepe Moreno.
Yes.
And I'd love to get a copy of the graphic novel. I don't need the Epic Illustrated.
Right.
But
I think I might have the graphic novel. Hello, Dope Comics. I'm not Wilson. The new X-Men 97 so far is great.
I'm enjoying the heck out of it. It was so much fun. I've been watching it because they released 3 episodes, so I divvied them out.
What's it on?
It's on Disney Plus,
Disney.
I believe. Yes, I believe it's on Disney Plus. And we'll just leave it at that. How I'm watching it, but that is where I believe it's available. But they dropped 3 episodes in a day, so I took a couple of days to watch it.
YouTube Marvel have free season 1.
Mm-hmm. So you can watch it on YouTube if you want to. Season 1 was great as well. So it is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. If you read comics for as long as we have, you get to see bits and pieces of stuff that oh, they got this from that. They got this from that. Even to the point where they'll do like still shots of an action scene, and it's like, oh, that's the cover to this book, or that's the cover to that book. So it's been a lot of fun, and they've even gone as silly as there's an episode where they focus on one of the other teams, and so the whole intro is changed to match that other team. So they show their logo. They it's just like the same X-Men intro, but instead of the X-Men, it's another team. And that's just a fun thing for them to do on that particular
Right.
subject. So it's really good. I enjoy it.
Dope Comics asks if anybody's reading The Fury of Firestorm. It's great. I have not read that one, but I've seen your reviews of it that were said it was good, but
Those
not one
new
I've checked out. But
books,
like you
or
said,
is that an older series?
there's so many good comics out there that when I went to, I was a little sad. Like I said, I already had last week doing Final Order Cutoff. I already had 8 comics on my pull list for that week. And there was I think there was 7 more I wanted to get. And I was just like, oh, can't get, I don't have the money for 15 comics a week. So there was a lot of number ones I didn't pre-order that looked pretty interesting. And that JLA 200, I actually have it too.
Mhm.
I don't remember much about it except it's got nice George Perez art. It would be nice to see George Perez art at Treasury Edition size. That's the only reason I would want it. Iron Zero says, Jared, I pulled a pair of cross-gen books out of the 9 for $5 bin today due to your talking positively about them. Yeah, there's a lot of good cross-gen stuff. I enjoy most of it. There's a little bit of I haven't read, but most everything I've read, like Crux is kind of the weakest of the cross-gen series. That kept changing creative teams and I don't think ever really found its place. But like most of the other stuff you can pick up and it's really good. Mm-hmm. I had just forgotten. It's amazing, people die in comics and then you forget. Jackson Geist died, I think, last year at this time. Someone just happened to post something about him, and I was like, Jackson Geist. Because he did one of my favorite cross-gen books, Ruse. He did a nice job with that. I was like, that's right, he died.
Yeah, I sometimes they'll pop up on my Facebook feed that, oh, it's been a year. It's like, oh, yeah, I kind of forgot that he passed.
Yeah.
And if you get sad about it all over again.
I know. It's like, And
sorry, I was saying, I did get to the comic book shop.
Oh, you went out there in the heat.
I went out there in the heat. I was only out in the heat for the 7 minutes that it took to walk from the subway to, well, 5 minutes. I walked from the subway to the post office, so there's a little air conditioning in there, and then from the post office to the comic book shop, and then right back onto the subway. So the whole time I was outside was probably 10 minutes tops, and I didn't feel the heat until coming home when I got off the subway and the 3-minute walk it takes from the subway to my place, because it was hotter than when I left, because I knew I did not want to be in the city by 3 when it got to 3 o'clock, because that's where it will hit the 100 point. And then yesterday I went out as well, again just to the supermarket, and yesterday felt worse.
Right.
So it's like, oh, I can't be doing this during, I kind of gauge the temperature that I could be outside in. And again, it was like, just making sure that I'm not staying out there way too long at all.
Iron Zero, you got Ruse #4 and Sigil 16, both good. I didn't read Sigil until the Marvel Omnibus last year. So that was one I missed the first time around, but I really enjoyed reading it in the Marvel Omnibus. And Ruse I've liked since it came out. Some terrific art. And what was amazing about Ruse is every page was a double-page spread that read across, and it wasn't confusing in the least. Because sometimes I've read books where they try to make you read across the whole page, and it can get confusing. It was not the least bit confusing. You did it all terrifically. So how many books did you get? I think I got 10.
With this
Plus
group,
Comics the magazine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So that was a big week. I can't have a 15-book week. I just couldn't. Even though I wanted to try all those number ones. What was that?
I came home with 12 books.
Oh, that's a lot.
And again, because they were already waiting for me.
You weren't there last week, right?
I wasn't there last week, and I didn't go the week before.
Oh, so that's 3 weeks.
But as I'm looking at these, I'm missing this week's books.
Oh.
So I think they found, because they pulled out one bag, and I figured, okay, that
Oh.
must be this week's books. And I said, no, there should be at least another one. And they pulled out another one. It's like, okay, great. They look correct, but it wasn't until I was coming home. It's like, did I miss 2 weeks or three? And I started doing the math, and unfortunately, as much as I like Midtown Comics, the
Mhm.
app is not very intuitive. It may be me, old man using technology, or I believe it's the app. And because I haven't had problems with other apps, but this one, it doesn't read well. It barely works when I go on the computer, but on the computer I was able to go, okay, this week's this book, this, like,
Right.
oh, I'm missing 3 books:
Mhm.
Savage Dragon,
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man 32, and I forget off the top of my head. The third book is, I think, a Thundercats book.
I
So I was like,
definitely got
oh,
Savage Dragon this week, so.
yeah, because I saw it on the shelf and it's like, oh, those would be with the books. I don't have to get them. And then the ones I pulled off the shelf were 3 books, and they were the Comics the Magazine.
Yeah, I picked that one up too. I hear it's going up in price and page count.
Okay, if it's going up in price and in page count, that I think is okay. The
I
next book
haven't heard
is
official word, but someone said that I read somewhere. I don't even remember where now.
ah, okay. And then what was on the shelf I grabbed would be Transformers the movie issue number 2.
Okay.
Either the reprint, Skybound's reprints of the Marvel books. And because
Mhm.
they're so thin, I haven't done a page count. I think they might be taking the Marvel books and splitting them in half, because this is
Okay.
it just feels tiny.
Right.
So I didn't do a page count, but it just was tiny. And the third book that I picked up off the shelf is Godzilla versus Portland.
Aha. Nice cover.
Very nice cover, black and white. It just looks so neat. Plus, this was the only cover I saw up there, so I don't know if they had multiple covers of this particular one. They usually do, but it looked like they didn't. Yeah, it looks like there's 3 other covers. Um, but it was just on the shelf, like, just there.
Yeah.
Usually with the Godzilla books, with the multiple copies, they'll have them spread out. But I guess for this one, they didn't get that many. But these are the ones that I got off the shelf, and then the rest of the books that I have here are the ones that were waiting for me.
Pulp Reader says the art on that comics mag is from Mark Spears, and I can't tell if his art is like computer generated or something. There's some sort of uncanny value type of feel. I have been wondering how Mark Spears works. If he's AI aided, that uncanny valley, yeah, you meant just because he's so prolific. He's so prolific with these paintings. I don't know if they must be digital. But I was like, what? I don't know how he's churning out so many paintings. Mark Spielsworth's digital 62 cents. And Iron Zero, I mentioned on my TikTok, the LOCG showed a price of $4 starting with issue 7, and the cover of that now says 40 pages. Okay. And he also said, "What we got some stuff up here." And all the Chuck Dixon cross-gen books are great. So I said, yeah, that's mostly Sigil, I think he did. Jared, after you're watching your video on Rogue Sun, Pulp Reader says, check out the newer issue of Zatanna at your shop. His art is all over the place with the magic going on. That was one of the things I was talking about in my Rogue Sun video, is sometimes with like the storytelling in that issue, the one guy's got a magic gun. And what is that? It's like, I was having trouble with some of the storytelling because what does a magic? We know what a gun does. We know if someone's bulletproof or not. But a magic gun, sometimes it killed people, sometimes it didn't. It was just so confusing storytelling wise. Missing Mars, here's the toast to this great country's 250th birthday. Sipping a nice lager from Paradox Brewery in New York. Oh, nice.
Nice. Jared, did you notice that the comics magazine near the bottom, that the logo from the inside of the cover is bleeding through?
Let me see. I did not notice that. The logo from the inside of the cover, Faceless in the Family.
Yes.
Oh, it's
Like it's stamped
yeah.
through?
This is like that one. Yeah, I showed same thing. What is that?
I don't know.
It was on Daredevil's second print, the new one. The logo from underneath was showing through. I think I showed it. But yeah, I didn't notice that on this. But you can definitely see
It,
Faceless in the Family logo. Let me see if I can show it off. There's Faceless in the Family on the inside front cover. There we go.
catches
You can see
catch
the
the light
impression now.
correctly. It's impression. That is so odd because I don't know what would cause that.
I don't either.
Considering it's not over colored because it's white.
It's got to be the pressure of the plate on the paper. But why?
Yes,
There's
so
usually,
odd.
there's
Because you can,
usually that
and then
not.
when you look on the inside, you could kind of see it. When you look at the white part of it,
Uh-huh.
it looks like it's pushed, or that's the illusion I'm getting.
It's weird. I don't know what the press is doing in this case. We'd
Yeah,
have to go there and look.
we're going to need to make a trip to the printers.
Yeah.
What's going on to our books?
And Pulp Reader says, with the Daredevil one, I was guessing because the Marvel paper is thinner than that hair, but the comics one is probably it's a thicker paper. It's self-covered, so it's only as thick as the inside. It's not particularly thin, but it's not particularly thick either. Yeah, it's just weird. Lefty Blues, Way of the Rat, El Conquistador. Yeah, I liked Way of the Rat and I liked El Conquistador both. I didn't remember they were by Dixon, but yeah, I liked them both. I bought them both. One interesting thing I read this week, someone dropped some food into the press and shagged up the calibration. There we go. This I took out of the library last Saturday and finally read it this week. This is Feeding Ghosts by Tessa Hulls. This is the one that won the Pulitzer Prize in memoir. And it's big.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of pages. Let me see. How many pages was it? 377 pages. It took a while to read, and it is really good. I can see why this won a prize. DC is printing comics magazine, so it must be up in Canada. But it's really, really good, and this is her first and only graphic novel. Took her nearly a decade to do. She says she doesn't have another one. She's not doing another one, and I can see why.
Well,
Yeah,
not on that side.
when you win the #1 prize,
And it's for a memoir.
right?
It's not for, fiction, which you can write over and over and over. And, me, I could never write a memoir like this. 99% of the world couldn't write a memoir like this because it is so wild, because it's about her mother, and her grandmother and their lives. And how, I think there was a good description on the back. Where is it? A deep, illuminating dive into Chinese history, mental illness, and inherited trauma. That's a good description of it. Because what it is, first of all, her grandmother was a journalist, a local journalist in the 40s and 50s in China, during the Chinese Civil War when Mao took over. And she was on the nationalist side, who lost. So she kind of had a, it's tough to call it a normal life because when she was growing up, I think she was still a teenager when the Japanese what do they call it? The Sino-Japanese War, which blended into World War II, happened before. We generally in the West consider World War II to have started in 1939. But the war between Japan and China started in 1936. So it was good and going by the time we entered that war. And so she was a teenager then. So she was a teenager in China when Japan was just murdering Chinese people left and right. In case you've never heard of the rape of Nanking, they killed 1 million people or some crazy number in and around Nanking. It was an awful, awful time. So her grandmother first had that awful time growing up during World War II. And then after World War II ended, the communists and the nationalists started fighting again in China. And like I said, her grandmother was a local journalist in Shanghai. I think it was Shanghai, China, which was a cosmopolitan city. But then after years of war, Chairman Mao won, and the communists won. And they actually took Shanghai. The People's Army came to Shanghai, and so she got to see lots of murder in Shanghai there, where she was the local journalist. And all of her sort of journalist friends at that time were fleeing to Hong Kong. They didn't want to be part of Hong Kong was owned by the British at the time. So there was no way that the communists were going to be able to take Hong Kong. The British had a lease on Hong Kong and they weren't giving it up. And the Chinese army wasn't going to take it. So a lot of people fled to Hong Kong. She's like, nah, I'm just a local journalist. I'm going to stay in Shanghai and be a local journalist. Bad move. Bad move. And they explained what Chinese brainwashing was. The term brainwashing came from China in this period of time when they were trying to get you to think right. And what they did to her mother and what they do is first they surveil you. They let you know that they're surveilling you. And then they take you in and they make you write down everything you've been doing. So whatever you write down is a crime. Then they keep bringing you in to write down more stuff. And they're like, if you don't come up with new stuff that you've done, we know you're a spy. And if you do come up with new stuff, why were you lying to us? You're a spy. So it's a no-win situation, no matter what you're. And they keep making you come in and write stuff down and confess and write stuff down, and then you can't talk to your friends and your friends and family, and they can't talk to you so you're isolated too, and it just breaks you. But she was lucky, and she also, this is the grandmother. The grandmother during that time also hooked up with a Swiss diplomat. That's where the mother came from in the story, the first daughter. So we have the grandmother and the mother. And the mother is half Chinese, but totally growing up in China. First in Shanghai, the grandmother finally, after like 7 years, escapes to Hong Kong, but she's just lost her mind. She was like mentally ill the rest of her life. The rest of her, like when eventually she moved to America 20 years later, she spent all her time writing her story over and over and over again in her journal. And her daughter pretended she had a publisher and would even make galley proofs to show her, just to make her mother think that people were reading her writing. Meanwhile, the book's written by the granddaughter, who's American. who her father is English. So we got eventually they all move. We've got the grandmother who's 100% Chinese. We've got her daughter who's Chinese, but we find out later on was raised in these sort of diplomatic schools for people who are half Chinese and half diplomat, let's say. And then the Pesahal is only, I guess, would be a quarter Chinese, but but her mother is, completely immersed in Chinese culture, and she was never taught how to speak Chinese, so she couldn't speak to her grandmother who was mentally ill, living in the house with her growing up, and they lived in a town in like the northwest of like 300 people. So there was like no other Chinese people around. Everybody in town knew her grandmother as the crazy little old Chinese lady because she'd walk around hiking and be crazy. So it's just this fascinating dynamic. I'm barely scratching the dynamic between these three. And it's all about the granddaughter, the author of this, the cartoonist, coming to grips. She only started coming to grips with her family history and the trauma of her family and the ghosts of her family, because when her mother first started going crazy when she was in Hong Kong, the daughter was like 12 and in this school, and she had to kind of take care of her mother even when she was the kid. So it's just like this. It's this really fascinating, complex family dynamic story. Like I said, I can see why it won awards, and it's well done. I can see why it won awards, because it's also just the kind of thing I think the rest of the world, like the niche book publishing world, wants in comics. They don't want guys punching each other. But like I said, we couldn't write at least as far as I know, you two couldn't write a memoir like this because your average life just isn't this traumatic.
No,
You
it's
have like 3
completely.
generations of that kind of trauma going on.
Yeah, that's completely different.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think my traumas are that interesting
Yeah.
in that kind of way. I got regular Gen X trauma.
Yeah.
We all have the
Normal
same
stuff.
one. The bomb's going to go down any minute now.
Mhm.
We're all training for that war to happen, and
We're all hiding out in the hall.
yeah,
Hmm.
yep.
I
Hiding under
checked
the tables.
Tech, so that thing already has a French edition on an indie publisher.
There's a French. Yeah, I think it came out in 2024, so it's been out for a while.
Yeah.
But it was good. Let's see. Tit Goblin says, I like that Get It Done graphic novel. I usually don't, but I would not call this Get It Done art.
It doesn't look like it.
No, she worked on. I'd call it. It's nobody's going to call this the best comic art they've ever seen, but her storytelling is good. It's solid, and it made me realize. I think that if you want to do this kind of book publishing comics stuff, the art can't be too challenging. Because when we think about because this art, like this was good, her storytelling was good, and what I mean by challenging is there's a few different in a typical, like, let's say adventure / superhero comic, there are times when, and I always say that the art is the writing. They're kind of intermixed kind of stuff. I always, people say, which do you like better, the writing and the art? And I'm like, well, the art is the writing. And there are times in like a superhero comic or whatever when the words go a little quiet and the art gets big. That's kind of art that's challenging you. But it's typical in superhero work, big splash pages, this, and when all of a sudden the art separates itself from the words briefly. And then there's somebody like I was thinking about this Steranko. Like Steranko's Agents of Shield stuff, he challenges you to come along with him. He's like, I'm doing something different here. I challenge you to come along with me. That's how I describe some of Steranko's storytelling in his Shields, because he was trying all sorts of new and different stuff. I don't think you can do that kind of work and be in sort of the book, because like for this, the art has to be a very integrated, unchallenging part of the story overall. Though there were a few pages in here, I would say, when all of a sudden the art broke out to challenge you. It was usually, let me see if I can find one.
Well, I don't think Steranko would draw a memoir the same.
Oh, no.
The same.
Like a completely different thing. Like all of a sudden we'd get pages like this. Where it was the art was suddenly challenging you more than it did on pages like this, where it was well integrated with the type and story. There's still symbolic things going on with the art, but I just think it's because I think your average person who might buy this, who's not really a comic book fan, wouldn't be able to sort of handle the art that's more challenging because they're not used to it. It's not.
I don't think there's a problem, because there's something that I recognize there, because there's a way that indie artists, when they're trying to do something that's more intimate, the way that they draw their own imagination. I'm not drawing a scene. I'm drawing inside my brain, and there's a way that they clutter the page without cluttering it, because you can see all of those ideas in there, but you can identify them.
Well, I'm comparing it in my mind too to something like Seth and Palookaville. His stuff is so highly designed that it's sort of more challenging than I guess we can call, Tessa Hulls and Feeding Ghosts an indie comic. Just Pulp Reader says, just as a topic of conversation, how did this memoir benefit from being a graphic novel as opposed to just a book? I was thinking about that as I was reading it. I think it was more intimate as a graphic novel, because as a memoir, it was really about the three women. And when it's a memoir that's a book, we're really only inside the author's head. I think with this being a graphic novel, we could get inside the heads of the grandmother and mother a little bit more. I was actually thinking about that as I was reading it. I was saying to myself, would this have been an award-winning book as prose, as not as a comic? And I don't know if it would have. I think being a comic served it well. And there was a lot of drawn symbolism in it to sort of set the mood, to give you a feeling. Because I think that's what comics are good at. They're good at setting a feeling for something.
Now, looking at that, I don't think it even occurred to her to do that thing and to tell the story, anything that wasn't a graphic novel.
She was an artist and a writer. Spent a couple of days in Shanghai and Hong Kong. They're certainly very different, says Captain Infinity. Yeah. And I'm sure they were really different in the 1940s.
Oh, yeah. I would
even more so.
I can't find my Nick Fury. Why can't I?
62. I read the TPB of Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. It collects Steranko and the Run from Strange Tales. Yeah. You gotta watch out with, I don't know which one you have, but I have one, and it rearranges the pages.
It's the because of the 4-page spread that
Yeah,
he did.
it's strange that sometimes that specifically with that it did that. Good stuff. Yeah, it is good stuff. Like I said, he challenged you to come along. 62 Lefty. My favorite thing is Monsters Volume 1 and 2 are like a memoir. Her artwork is excellent. Oh, yeah. I read My Favorite Thing Volume 1 and it didn't resonate with me. I don't know why.
I can't find it.
Craig Thompson is a good example of cluttered art that does not clutter up the story at all, says Tit Goblin. Yeah, he did a nice job on ginseng roots, I have to say. That was highly detailed. But I got to say, read, and it takes a. You won't complain about compressed storytelling here. This takes a while to read. At 375 pages and plenty of words explaining things to you. Oh, and her grandmother even wrote a book in after she escaped Shanghai and made it to Hong Kong. She wrote a book about Shanghai, which immediately became a bestseller. And she was ripped off and didn't make any money from it. And it was only in Chinese. Her granddaughter got a grant to get the book translated, I think. And there's also, I realize now in reading this too, there's a whole world of, she got some grants to do research and stuff to make this book because she had to do a lot of research into the history of China and her grandmother and what her mother went through. But you never hear about, I only hear like from books like this about people making comics with grants.
Right.
I was gonna try to see. I don't know where I put my Steranko Fury. It's got to be around here somewhere, but I can't find it because I wanted to.
Lefty Blue says, I read Blankets last week and it was such an easy read. I like Ginseng Roots a lot better than Blankets. Not that Ginseng Roots is a hard read, but I found Blankets a little too, I don't remember. A little too indie comic, a little too cliche indie comic, maybe. I don't know what it was, but I wasn't a huge fan of Blankets. But Ginseng Roots, I love. I think I read some other stuff by Craig Thompson that was pretty good, but for some reason, Blankets didn't resonate with me.
I've been reading something that's not an easy read, and I'd say that it's the artist's writing. So I'm reading again Kim Billal's Bug. I have volumes 1 and 2. Okay, yeah, this thing is, and you usually buy Bilal for the art because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But the story, it's so sluggish. Even when you have some interesting page setups like this one. Sorry, it's not just the camera, the printing's too dark. But it takes a long while, and it really turns you off, and you want to stop because it's getting nowhere. It's getting nowhere slow.
This one read at a nice clip. There was nothing.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard to read. There's just a lot to read in it. There's so much going on. I only hit the surface of what was going on between these. Like I said, it was all about and the name Feeding Ghosts comes from Tessa Hull's growing up, and she didn't figure out any of the dynamics between her and her mother until she was in her 30s. But she always said, even as a kid, she noticed her mother had what she called a ghost twin. Because her mother had so much trauma from her mother being crazy, that sometimes, she never learned how to be a daughter, and she certainly never learned how to be a mother. So when something would get too much for her, as the daughter, her ghost twin would come out, and she'd be short and curt and would say mean things to her daughter because she was hurt. like I said, the daughter didn't realize that the granddaughter didn't realize this till she was in her 30s. It was the reason her and that ghost twin was it's like there was ghosts with them, and they ignored all the ghosts. And she was like, I think what we had to do was feed the ghosts and get them out of here. So that's where the title "Feeding Ghosts" comes from. And there was she didn't get along with her, and there's so much cultural stuff going on too, because the granddaughter's American, and the mother is Chinese. So, and like I said, the mother never learned how to be a daughter or a mother. Her sense of love was all messed up. She always loved her daughter, and her daughter knew she loved her, but couldn't express it, and loved her by trying to save her from her mother's mental illness. So it's like the granddaughter was going to psychiatrists and stuff all through her adolescence because her mother thought she'd catch the grandmother's mental illness, especially since the granddaughter was a writer and an artist, which is what the grandmother was, and a writer. So I was just like, oh, there's so much going. It's like your average person just doesn't have this much for a memoir. And just even trying to make it up would be, whew, it's so much going on. And then when the daughter finally grew up, she bolted the granddaughter. She bolted out of the house and spent the next 10 years traveling the world, just fleeing everyone and everything. So it's amazing. Oh, did we lose Paolo? He's spinning.
Looks like it.
You're still here, right, Wilson?
So far.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's not my internet.
Yeah, I'm still here so far. I see you.
Yep.
On him, I'm getting the spinning wheel.
Right.
Last night, lights went off.
Ah.
I was just sitting down watching television, just finished having dinner. My brother went into his room, and all of a sudden, just the lights went off. I said, all right, maybe it's just the fuse went off. Went to the fuse box, checked it. It's like, no, all the fuses are up. So we turned them off, put them back on. Still off. My brother had to go to the basement to see if it was like the big fuse box, the one that's in the basement, to the house. And sure enough, that's what tripped. And it was like, oh, I don't like this at all. Because we were only in the dark for maybe 5 minutes, probably 10 minutes, when it's like, it's getting hot really fast. And I've had a few blackouts in my life, and I do not recommend them.
No.
Especially on hot days.
But it was just a breaker tripped?
Just a breaker tripped. It was just surprising that it tripped in the basement and not in the apartment, which usually happens. That,
Okay.
oh, we may have more than one appliance on, in our case, air conditioners. So we know not to use the microwave because that'll trip it. But I don't know what tripped it. And for it to trip in the basement was scary, mainly because, oh, it tripped at 8 o'clock. That's fine. We could get to the basement. We could speak to the super. But if it was like in the middle of the night or something, or after I think 11 is when our elevator automatically stops going to the basement. It's like, oh, that's pretty scary. So, so last night was fine, but again, it's like just watching everything, making sure more than enough things are off.
Huh.
And again, it's like, and then tonight, same thing, everything's working fine. But it's always that, kind of worried about it just because of the heat.
Paolo is back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. I got 2 facsimiles this week.
Ooh, what you get?
I got 8 Ball #1 and just Avengers JLA #2. Once again, I'm Avengers JLA. I'm going to try to make my own hardcover out of. Right. Try that thing Wilson said of getting the glue soft by putting in the microwave. And 8 Ball #1, I I just kind of bought as a lark because I have 8 Ball #1. But I was just like, you know what? I'll get a facsimile of it. What the heck?
Yeah.
Why not? So got these two. Yep. Daniel Clowes is 8 Ball. For those of you who've never read, and this is the beginning of the Like a Velvet Glove Cast in Iron story and the first appearance of young Dan Poussey. Have you ever read that, Wilson?
I don't think I did.
Young Dan Pussy, though he's like, it's Poussey.
It sounds
It's
vaguely familiar, but
yeah,
I don't
you
know if I
probably
was
would have heard
reading
about it around the bullpen, maybe, because it's about comics. This one, it's
Right.
about a young up and coming artist, superhero artist, working for a Stan Lee like character in some comics company. So it was one of his more famous ones for a while. And one of the things I didn't pre-order last week because I had enough comics already was a Spider-Man #100 facsimile coming out. I was like, maybe I'll pick it up off the shelf if it's there, and
Right.
I don't have as many books, but I was like,
Yeah, I would suspect that'll be on the shelf for a little while, and
yeah,
you could pick it up during a week that you don't have
right.
that many books.
Because that's what I did with the Avengers JLA #1. It was on the shelf for a couple of weeks. But when I went, you know what? I want to buy that to make my own hardcover.
Do you have any plans for the hardcover other than making it a hardcover? Adding
No
any
plans
extra
yet.
stuff
I'll have to do
inside of
some
it?
sort of design with it, but I don't know what. I could make it a canvas hardcover.
To make it canvas? I was thinking, you could also use the all those extra Marvel paper
Yeah,
that you have that has, the blue line on it.
right.
Design-wise, I think that would work pretty good. It
That
wasn't
could.
great paper to draw on, but you could kind of make a mock-up, paste-up mechanical.
The mechanical paper that I used, it wasn't the Marvel illustration board. It was the mechanical board that I showed you with the blue
Right.
lines on it. That actually made for a really nice book cover for the one that I used. I like the feel of it a lot. It's got a slick, dense, papery feel. So maybe something with that. I'll have to see.
You can mock up a mechanical cover.
Yeah. I'll have to see what I can do with that. But yeah, Feeding Ghosts is definitely worth your time. Like I can see why it won awards.
Right.
Oh, the big award. I really don't know how anything wins a Pulitzer Prize, but I could see how people would give this book awards. It's the kind of book that people want to give awards to.
Right.
It's good and reflects well of you. That's what awards are.
Award givers cannot resist a good memoir.
Right. Right. And that was a good memoir. That was certainly an interesting memoir. It was just like, whoa.
Much better than American Splendor, that's for sure.
And I like American Splendor, it's got its place, but this was just like the amount of material she had to work with is not, I'm sure it wasn't great for her life, but it was really great for the book.
Finally found the Steranko shield, so let's see.
There we go.
So I'm picking up here issue Strange Tales #157, so we can go over some of the pages. All right, so this is page 1. So for the splash pages, I don't think it's that hard to follow.
Right. Oh, I don't mean that Steranko is hard to follow. I mean that he's doing different things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it doesn't look like your average comic book.
Right.
By challenging, I don't necessarily mean hard to. It's a tough word. It's tough to figure out what I mean by that word. But I don't necessarily. I think I mean when the art rises to the front.
All right. So let's take a look at these 2 pages.
Who's writing that?
It's Steranko himself now.
Ooh, those are the days when there was a lot of writing.
Yeah.
Got paid by the word, right?
Like we have. But if it wasn't for the text lab, here we have the the helicarrier. Then we're seeing Fury with some piece of equipment, and no, it's not Fury here. It's some. No, this is a Von Strucker. This is Von Strucker doing something with some weird colors, and now we switch to Jasper Sitwell running for no apparent reason, and then we have an Esper agent connected to a machine, and then we have Jasper talking to Gabe and Dum Dum.
Well, those layouts are very Kirby. Looking at those,
they still
and
are
early on. That's who he was like those 4-page.
Like you, is this page hard to follow for a non-superhero reader?
Might be that full page pinup splash. That's a challenging page for a non-superhero reader. What to make of that?
Yeah. What about a 9-panel grid?
I don't think so.
Right, because there are no backgrounds, but you're only focused on the action.
Right.
And there's plenty of it. So. Okay, so let's move to a few issues later. Maybe the Yellow Claw issue.
But it's switching between the stuff too. That's. By
the time we get to the Yellow Claw story, this doesn't look like Kirby anymore. You may find things that Kirby did that Steranko used, but he explained that he doesn't portray action like Kirby.
Right.
He said something about Kirby wanting to do maximum action and he himself wanting to do maximum drama.
That's much more art to the forefront, challenging the reader than the earlier stuff.
And because it's Steranko coloring himself, he doesn't have to do anything easy. Like the Yellow Claw has a green face here.
Like especially in superhero / adventure comics, there are times when the art just moves to the front, which I don't think happens in memoirs as well. Though, like I said, it did happen on a few occasions in this book, but only in a few. Most of the time, like even she was doing a lot of symbolic stuff in the background. But even a lot of that stuff was background. Bee hulls. And I found this right on the shelf in my local library too. I didn't have to special order it.
That's neat.
And here we have Steranko effects.
Whitby Blue says Kirby did the layouts and Steranko did the art. After about 4 issues, Steranko did it all.
Yeah, it was a fast switch. Okay, so here's effects. Can non-superhero readers understand these effects?
No, it'd be easier to I don't know, because they didn't have the benefit of reading for you. I don't know that they would. It would challenge them at least.
Because even this was new for in 1966. This would be new,
right?
On the other hand, yeah, I've read Steranko. There were a few of these stories that appeared in a few issues of Captain America way back when.
Right.
In Brazil. But I've only read the complete Steranko here when I was adult. So I am used to seeing this type of effects and this type of storytelling. So to me, it's not a problem. But if I show this to somebody who's not used to superhero comics, or even to comics at all, they're not going to understand anything that's going on after a while.
Here's one.
Look at how Look at how the panels are laid out. They're on the right.
Oh yeah.
How do you follow this? And we have Fury's head upside down here. Luckily, the balloons are all right side up. Otherwise,
Shaolin Cowboy Staying AI Alive, issue 1. I wonder if someone who doesn't read comic books, how they would react to Jeff Darrow. Because like there was one thing here, I was even like, huh, what's going on? Because he has him, practicing, I guess, Shaolin stuff, but then he leaps off and he like lands on the top of a plastic soda bottle. And it doesn't even break. And then he struggles to get the lid off. And he eventually karate chops it off. I mean, it's all pretty straightforward. But then, how would the same person who hasn't read like adventure comics react to this in the same book?
For people who aren't used to comics at all, I think that the biggest barrier is understanding how action happens in the gutters.
Yeah.
The connection between one image and the next. Even if it's quite easy to follow.
Yeah, it's not for you and me. We don't even think about it.
Right.
But we're so used to it.
Yeah. I still think that you need to start reading comics at age 5.
which led me to the conclusion that if you're doing books, book publisher comics, you need a book publisher simple style kind of thing. Like no one you might even prefer this artwork to Jeff Darrow.
Sure.
But there's no way Tessa Hulse is going to tell you she's better than Jeff Darrow.
I'm not even sure she'd want to compare because
I'm just saying that she'd be like,
yeah,
I can't do that.
But there's one thing that we know about Tessa Hull and Jeff Darrow. Tessa Hull could do a newspaper comic if she wanted to, and Jeff Darrow can't. And if there's one comics thing that people are used to reading, it's newspaper comics. So if Tessa Hull chose to do a strip, even if it's a gag a day, or even a one panel,
she says she's not going to do another graphic novel, and I don't blame her. Like it took her nearly 10 years to do this one, and a lot of research. So I don't know what she'd do to follow that up.
Right. After you write yourself,
now
you have to write about something else that's not you.
And she had to learn a lot about herself in order to write this too. That's another thing. How much more does she have to learn about herself? She doesn't have enough. She has to live another 30 years to have another memoir in her.
Yeah. When I was reading the book about the Dark Age of comics, there's a page there about Facts from Sarajevo, because it's not what Joe Kubert was used to doing.
That is my favorite Joe Kubert.
Yeah, but it's something that he chose to do. He wanted to do it. It's something that this happened, and I have to do a story about it, which is not usually the motivation that Kubert have, because in a lot of things, even if he owned the comic like Abraham Stone or Thor, in many respects, he was still doing it for the money. And Facts from Sarajevo is probably the first time he wanted to do something with a message.
Right.
So
Ted Goblin says you need to put on a silver wig and giant glasses to read Steranko.
So you have to be Grant Morrison then. No, not quite.
Want to show us some comics you got, Wilson?
Sure. Let's see. We got we have a new issue, or at least new to me. This might have been a couple of weeks ago, for Gotcha Man, issue number 19. Mad Cave Studios. Open up to an interior page.
looks nice.
Yep. I think this is Chris Batista. It is. Chris Batista is doing the penciling, and Sabrina Clinton is doing the inks. Another page with the team in it. And a nice cover with these bright colors on there. It's not as vibrant on the screen as it is in life, but it's pretty nice.
Nice. Chris Batista.
What else we have here? We have Thunderhawks. This is the crossover between Thundercats and Silverhawks. I still have to actually sit down and try to figure out what order these should be read in.
Oh, that's right. It's flopping between series.
It's crossing over between a bunch of the series, and there's a checklist on the inside. So it looks like there's 3 books coming out per month. So
Have you been getting all 3?
I believe so. I have to double check because again, you have Thundercats X Silverhawks, then you have Thundercats X Silverhawks Thunderhawks. So it's really, so this is the Thundercats X Silverhawks Thunderhawks, and then the next book after this is the Mumra the Ever Living, which I do have. So I believe I do have them all set to get them as part of the major crossover, but I want to double check to make sure they're all being ordered, basically.
There's no better advertisement for switching to trades than having to figure out a reading order.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how they package the trade.
Yeah, because they may just package this title as one set of trades and this title as one set of trades, and who knows if they have it.
Yeah.
If they have it that way.
Like when Morrison's Multiversity came out, I knew there was no way I was going to read those as floppies. Because there's a reading order, but we would be able to figure out from the publishing schedule.
After Infinity last week, I was on a walking tour and couldn't give my full attention to Jared's fascinating take on time travel. Mm-hmm. Now I am back home with my full attention, and there's Nada on the topic. Thank goodness for Paolo, at least. We're in the timeline where Paolo is a superhero.
I am a superhero. I have an unusual set of skills.
Thomas Progressive. New to me, I picked up 5 issues of Charlton Bullseye magazine. Some entertaining memories. I remember getting some of those in the early 80s that I liked. Charlton had a brief revival in like the very early 80s, and there were some Charlton Bullseyes that had some some sort of new talent in it that I enjoyed reading. Because I like
a Blue Beetle story appeared in one of Bill Black's comics, I think.
What story?
A Blue Beetle story.
Oh, Blue Beetle.
Like a couple of months before DC bought the characters.
A Blue Beetle. Oh, one strange thing I got this week was a bunch of bookmarks. My LCS just found them. They're from the Dawn of DC promotion.
Neat.
And I got the rainbow's worth. I don't even remember when Dawn of DC. I think these are Dan Mora drawings. Not 100% sure. But they did them in, individual monochrome colors to make a rainbow. So I was like, I'll get all I use bookmarks all the time.
Yeah. I like getting bookmarks from comic book shops and stuff like that. A lot of the ephemera, I think, is a lot of fun.
Yeah, good. When was the Dawn of DC? That was that was before Absolute stuff, right?
Yeah, I think so. There's not a copyright notice on the bottom of those?
No, there isn't. There's There's a copyright, but not a year. And it's
Oh.
so small and faint. It's like copyright RT. It's like someone just put the copyright stuff down, just copyright symbols down the bottom. No, it just says like TM, and it's like 2-point type. Unreadable. It's not going to hold up in copyright court. You could bootleg these bookmarks and probably get away with it.
Lasting from 2023 to 2024.
Okay. Right before Absolute. Tit Goblin, also dousing your hands in high karate cologne while reading Steranko Shield. Makes the story make sense once the fumes get into your brains. A little huffing. A little huffing can help you with Steranko. We're supposed to have Julio on tonight, but I don't know where he is. I heard from him this morning. I told him he could jump on any time, so maybe he'll jump on sometime. Sent him the link.
Is Julio
don't know if he'll show up as figure 4 or
right.
You watched his video?
I watched the video. It was a bit much. It was that level of, oh, I can't watch this anymore. Once the interview started going, it was fine, but there was a lot of chaos, so it was a little hard to watch. Once I realized how that show is, I was able to enjoy it.
His co-host had some good questions for Chris.
Yes, definitely did. So it's like once that kind of got going, it's like, okay, I get the format. I could understand it. But there was a few times it was like, oh, I'm not in the mood to watch something like this at the moment. Again, it's a bit much, but I liked, they did a good amount of research.
Yeah.
I liked how informative they were and asking Chris questions and stuff like that.
They really went over Chris's career.
Yeah, completely.
Quite a bit
and some pictures also helped. It's like, I remember the way the bullpen was at that time, looking like that. So that was a lot of fun too.
Yep. Did you get to watch any of that? Chris Geruso being interviewed, Paolo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. I thought that the podcast was going on longer because it turns out it was the first.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I think that was number 2, and there wasn't a number 1, or something. I think they just started it. I don't know how Julio is going to keep a podcast up because he doesn't like to go online. So I guess that's why he had the Mexican wrestler mask on. So I don't know what his plans are for it. Figure 4.
Okay, found that thing that I was looking for. So the Blue Beetle appears in Americomics number 3 in 1983.
Americomics?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that one. Yeah.
From EC Comics, Bill Black. Yeah, but 12-page story by Rick Levins, and another one by Neil Stannard and Leo Laney. Bill Black was great at spotting talent. you either became an also ran or you went nowhere. Yeah, but if DC hadn't bought Charlton, Bill Black would be publishing the Charlton Heroes, because there's an Americomics special here where they were going to do the Charlton Heroes as their own team called the Sentinels of Justice.
Ah.
And they're on the cover. Blue Beetle, Captain Atom, Nightshade, and the Question.
He was months away.
Yeah.
Months away. Oh, I also got the second issue of Zorro. Howard Chaykin, Jorge Fornes, Walter Pereira. And this was terrific. There's a wraparound cover.
Neat.
And I liked the I said I'm not a huge Zorro fan. I loved the art in the first issue. The art in the second issue was even better, and the story was better.
Mm-hmm.
as Zorro and these lady pirates go around, and the villain in it is completely villainous. He was wiping out natives because they weren't people to him, and he needed some of them as slaves. It was crazy how villainous the villain was, and the storytelling and artwork were just terrific. Very Alex Toth like. It's only going 3 issues, but I really, really liked this second issue a lot more than the first, I'd say.
Now, does it make you wish that it would go on as an ongoing?
I would buy it if it were an ongoing. That's how much I liked this second issue.
Yeah, even if it stopped at number 12, it would have been a nice run, I guess.
Yeah.
And of course, Zorro is a superhero.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like it seems like it could be an ongoing. I don't know how the story's going to wrap up in the next issue. But like I said, the art is just terrific. It's very he's obviously wearing his Alex Toth influence on his sleeve, and he's doing just a great job of it. His storytelling is flawless, and there's a few panels that were just like, whoa.
And Chaikin is mentioning history, which is in an interesting way.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Who's the letter?
Because sometimes they when they do Zorro, they kind of try to weave some real history into the story, but they try to make it as if it's in a non-specific point in history. But it needs to be a specific point in history because Zorro isn't. California is still a part of Mexico. Zorro is in California when it's still a part of Mexico.
Right.
Right.
And he's not Mexican. He's a Spanish nobleman, so he has certain privileges which are not afforded to any self-made aristocrats who got the title in Mexico.
Let's see. The colors are Walter Herrera. The letterers are Ezekiel and Vernie. The editor is Clara Bartolozzi. And the editor-in-chief is Mateus Timarachi.
See, that thing almost looks like the credits to a spaghetti western.
Yeah,
you have the American actor and everybody else is Italian or something.
And where did you say Jorge Fornes is from? Was he?
I think it's from Argentina.
Argentina.
Yeah.
Boy, he's good. Alien Books. This is from too. Covered by Stuart Moore. But yeah, excellent issue 2. Maybe Missing Mars says maybe Zorro will end in a to be continued. It could definitely continue from the story. I mean, it's Zorro, so there's no definitive end for it. But yeah.
Yeah, if that somehow was could do a 12 issue series with that. I think I could convince one publisher to give that thing a go. See if Zorro still sells anything over here. Because it used to. You put Zorro on the cover, and
Jules just entered. There.
Yo, why you doxing me, bro? Why were you doxing me? I did not appreciate
People need
that.
to know who you are.
Both you and Wilson were doxing me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what the hell I'm talking.
What are you in like a nondescript hotel room somewhere in the American Midwest?
No, I'm actually Wilson, I'm in Colorado now. No, sorry. I'm in Japan now.
I heard you were in Japan.
We arrived yesterday.
Now I know you're lying because from that angle, that hotel room is too big to be in Japan.
No, look, we're in Asakusa.
This is Paolo, by the way. Jules.
What's up?
Paolo from Portugal?
That's Paolo
right.
from Portugal.
Tudo bem?
Yeah.
Are you from Portugal?
Yes, I am.
He lives there.
Because I know
He's
there's a lot of like people from Brazil that live in Portugal and vice versa.
Yeah, we have about 600,000 Brazilians living here.
Okay.
In fact, I rented my apartment to a Brazilian couple and their 2 children.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Because
So have you been reading any
understand a
comics
little
lately, Jules?
Portuguese. What's that?
Have you been reading any comics lately?
Oh yeah, I read comics. I'm reading I started the Uncanny X-Men run from the Jack Kirby and Stan Lee era, and now I'm up to like issue 205.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where I stopped. Issue 200 was my last issue of Uncanny X-Men.
I remember that, and I thought you were crazy for that.
Yeah. I would find it was like issue 191 or 192. That was when I went, and I must have just continued to 200 to round it off. That's when I can't read this anymore. And those are the exact issues that made Thomas start reading the X-Men.
Yeah.
Was it the Cool and Goth issues?
Yes, it was the Cool and Goth issues. The issues where all this crazy stuff happened and then a wizard made it go away. I was just like,
oh, that's the one you're talking about. The one where this dude, what's his name?
Cool and Goth.
Cool and Goth. He was like a Conan villain, right?
Yeah.
Red Sonja.
Red Sonja.
Red Sonja villain who was after Spider-Man of all people.
Yeah,
they did that in the X-Men book. And
that's a follow-up to that Marvel team-up.
Right.
Yeah, that was one of my early X-Men books because it had Spider-Man in it.
Right.
Before
it really matters when you start and how old you are. Like I said, I had been reading the X-Men for what year did that come out? Like 84. I've been reading the X-Men for 5-6 years by then. And the stories were starting to repeat themselves. That's why I was like, yeah. the helper monkey wave.
So would you say you're more of like a Dave Cockrum guy?
John Byrne. I started with some of the Dave Cockrum stuff, but when John Byrne came aboard, that's where I was really a fan.
Gotcha.
When he left, I didn't like it. The second Dave Cockrum run, Paul Smith run, bit better. The John Romita Jr. run, okay, but I was just done by but then I was like done with all like Marvel and DC mainstream superhero books. I was indie. That's what I wanted to read.
Wow. You left at the wrong time, buddy.
It all matters how long
you left when the party was starting to pick up.
Looking back, I figured out that they could have ended X-Men in number 150, because then the next story arc was when they brought back the Hellfire Club, those 2 issues by Bob McLeod. Yeah. That's when they started regurgitating stuff.
What were your favorite eras, Julio, having just read them all?
My favorite era is the Paul Smith era.
Paul Smith era?
He's my favorite X-Men illustrator.
Now, is that where you started?
No,
back when you were young?
Oh, no. When I was younger, I started with Jim Lee.
Okay.
And Jim Lee, I would have to say, is probably one of my least favorite artists right now.
Ah. You haven't been reading Hush too?
I never read Hush. I never had a desire to read Hush.
Hush was like the last time I read Jim Lee, because I was like, I may as well check out what's happening. Jim Lee's back. I may as well check it out just to see what's happening. And I read Hush, and it was okay. I read it as it came out. And then when Hush 2 came out, once again, I wasn't interested in reading it, but I did buy the giant-sized Treasury edition of issue 1 just because I wanted to see it at that size.
Okay. And did it disappoint? No,
it was okay. It's okay. It's not my favorite thing. And I knew it wasn't going to be my favorite thing. I just wanted to see it to see it. Because it's fun to see, artwork that big.
Right. Oh, okay. Okay. You're talking about
it was 11 by 17.
Yeah. I've seen those at Forbidden Planet in Manhattan one time.
I think they were doing all the issues of Hush that size. At least they were doing it at the beginning.
If I could find, I think I've been to a website where you could find some old X-Men issues print printed like that. Like maybe I want to see if I can find some Paul Smith editions like that.
Oh, the
He's my
artist
favorite.
editions, yeah. Well, these
Yeah.
weren't like artist edition printed. They were just the regular comic blown up.
Oh, because I've seen at Forbidden Planet, I've seen the ones where they have like the black and white pages, like
Yeah,
scanned in.
those are the artist editions. I got a few of those. Those ones are like you're looking at the original art.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, those are kind of cool. But like I said, I just take like those are like $125, $150 a book.
That's it?
That's it. That's a lot of money. Like the Jim Lee, like the ones they're putting out as treasury editions are like $15, and they're just blown up big comics.
I see.
I like those too.
Okay.
Mm.
You know what's funny is that like I'm watching your I watch your pull list every once in a while.
Uh-huh.
And then like I see your background over there, because I remember when I used to go over to your place for barbecues.
Mhm.
I was amazed. How the hell do you keep comics in your bathroom? Doesn't the humidity mess them up? You know?
There's no shower in that bathroom.
Okay. But it's like I'm always in awe of
I
your
put comics everywhere.
No, is it you still love comics?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I was telling him about your channel, like this conversation that you like this, you know, what you guys do here. And I was explaining it to him. I was like, bro, like I was like, because he was like, nerd. He was saying you nerds. And I was like, no, bro, listen. I was like, this is like a barbershop for comic fans. You understand? It's like people want to go to the barbershop and just talk about life and taxes and their women. But you know, here you're talking about what you like, you know, comics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's not a lot of avenues for that. You see what I'm saying? Like,
talking about the Pulitzer Prize winning graphic novel that I
which
read.
one is this one?
A comic. This is Feeding Ghosts by Tessa Hulls. It won the Pulitzer Prize for memoir as a graphic novel. So that's big time.
And then we were comparing it to Steranko's Shield.
we get
Why?
deep here. We get deep.
And
But why did you compare it to Steranko's Shield?
And to Bug Bank Bilal.
Because one of my are you aware of like comics like this, graphic novels that like book publishers put out, not comic publishers, but book publishers put out?
Yeah.
And they're sort of their own niche.
Yeah.
And what I was saying is, if you're putting out a book like this, I came to the conclusion it's best if the art is not too challenging. Because most people who are buying this are book fans and not comic book fans.
You're right.
Steranko was an example I was giving and Paolo was showing us about art that's challenging. All of a sudden, the art takes over the comic. And that's something I think like book readers aren't used to.
You're right. You're correct. Yeah. I hate how in a lot of graphic novels today, they don't take risks with camera angles.
Yeah. Well, stuff like this doesn't do that.
Yeah.
They did a couple of times they did, but not a whole lot. Oh, Tit Goblin, one of our regulars, wants to know, Jules, are you watching X-Men 97?
When did it hit? I think it dropped a couple of days ago.
Yeah, new season just
Monday.
Wilson's been watching it.
Yeah, I've been watching it.
Well,
so it dropped at least 3 or 4 days ago.
I've been getting ready for this trip, so I've had nothing. I couldn't really do anything, but I'll catch up when I get back home, because we saw all of season 1, and my daughter cried when Gambit died.
They killed Gambit?
I cried too.
That just reminded me. I somehow this struck me this week seeing pictures of him. I have no idea who Forge is.
What?
I have no idea what his powers are. I mean, I know who he is, but I've never ever read a story with Forge in it. I'm like, I really have no idea what his powers are. He's from like some future X-Men.
No.
No. That's Bishop.
Oh, Bishop. I have no idea who Bishop is.
Jared,
Pardon me.
had your
Forge-
ass read past issue 200, you would know.
Forge, actually, you're right, was in before too. I have a vague idea. He was like Storm's love interest ever so briefly. But Bishop, I have no idea who Bishop
Barry
is.
Windsor Smith.
So
Yeah.
Barry Windsor Smith did a book called Life Debt,
Three
Uh-huh.
parts.
3 parts, and it kind of like got into the relationship of Forge and Storm. So Forge's mutant powers, if I remember.
Hold on, I
correctly-
got two ladies speaking Japanese. Yo, stop that Japanese. I'm talking to these dudes.
So
I'm gonna get in trouble, yeah?
his mutant powers is that he's like his name Forge. He makes things.
He's a tech guy, right?
He's a tech guy.
That I remember about.
If he thinks about it, he can make it.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's how his powers work.
Well,
So
Didn't
his-
he was working for the government at one point.
he worked for he was working for the government, making devices to stop mutants,
Yes.
not kill them, but stop
Yeah.
them. And he was the one that created a gun that was supposed to be used
The
on
neutralizer.
Rogue to neutralize the power.
Yes.
Storm got in the way, saving Rogue, and Storm.
Yeah.
That's how Storm lost her powers.
It was
That's
meant
why.
for Rogue. It was meant for Rogue.
So yeah, his power was he thinks about it, he can make it. He may
So
not
Bishop
know
is
how
from
it
the
works.
future.
Bishop
Yes.
himself is from the future. In the X-Men 97, a future Forge sends Bishop through time.
Yes.
Ah.
So that's why he was there, because it was his technology to send Bishop through time.
I remember
But Bishop-
Forge was one of the last new characters. I remember. I think he appeared in the John Romita stuff.
Yeah, he did.
So yes,
But Bishop,
he
I have
was-
no idea.
Bishop
Forge
didn't show up until the
was
Wilson
Potashio.
Potashio eras.
Yeah,
era
was
of-
Potashio.
When Jules, when you were mentioning I still love comics, I was just trying to think who I know who still buys comics regularly. Like, who do we know, like, from our Marvel days? I mean, Wilson does.
Okay, Wilson.
Right,
Bunch
but I did
does.
take a break.
Bunch.
He didn't take a
Bunch
break
still-
until he started doing the show.
Yeah, I started coming back to it because of
Right.
doing
Wilson
the
did
show.
take a break. Once he
Before
started
that,
doing the show,
when
he
my-
started
when-
doing
when my-
reading comics again.
the
Or
comic
at least
shop.
buying them, not always
go
reading
Yeah, two different hobbies.
them.
Yeah, I took a break when the comic book shop that I used to go to closed down. I kind of walked away from it.
Which shop was that? Which shop?
This shop was a shop in Westchester called the Phoenix of Westchester.
Yo, who the hell do you think you are? You live in
Because-
Westchester?
No, I don't.
So who the hell do you think you are?
I'm Wilson Ramos Jr., award-winning comic book artist.
Wait a minute. I know you live in the Bronx, Wilson.
Now you're calling me out, but yes,
What are you doxing him for?
you're doxing me. I live in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Once I left Marvel, I wasn't really going to the city to buy books. I did for a while. Once
So,
Jim
see-
Hanley's moved, I kind of stopped going to that shop.
Okay.
So it was easy for me to kind of stop. But a buddy of mine that I hang out with, we go to the comic book shop together, and Westchester is only 15 minutes away from him driving. So every
You're right, yeah.
Thursday, we would hang out, go to the comic book shop, and you go with a group. So we were going to a shop called the Dragon's
was it Dragon's Den? Dragon's
Was-
Den. Yep, that's
Was
the only one I can think of.
Den.
Fordham Road.
No, it was on
west- Is it west of
Westchester
Fordham?
Westchester Road. It was
Okay.
on Central Avenue in Westchester.
Wow.
Was the Dragon's Den. When that shop closed down,
Oh, they closed that
Some-
down?
some of the workers created a shop called the Phoenix of Westchester, which was based on what was left of the Dragon's Den.
They were reborn out of the
Reborn
ashes of the Dragon's Den, like the Phoenix.
Wow.
So they were a little further up in Westchester. So an extra
Okay.
5-10 minutes drive. So I was going
Okay.
there. But when that shop closed down, I stopped with comic books for a little while. And I
What
would
year
pick
was
up
this?
stuff here and there. So that would be probably, I want to say 2012
Holy shit.
is when I think I stopped buying comics on a regular basis.
Okay.
Now I knew what was going on because I'm still working in the industry. So I
Mm-hmm.
would go and pick up occasional books at cons and stuff like that. And then
Okay.
once I was invited to this show, I decided, maybe I'll start picking up books again. And so now
Shopping
I
the
go.
blade.
So now I shop in Midtown Comics.
But
Oh.
the two people he liked to chat with most at Midtown Comics just quit.
Huh.
So he's had a conundrum because he doesn't like going to Midtown Comics as much as he used to when he had a
It
couple of
was
buddies
it
to
was
hang
a
out
lot
with.
more fun. Now I just go in, pick up my books,
Yeah.
and go. So there's no
That's no
real.
fun. That's not
And
nearly as
Ah.
much fun.
and again, there's like every time the last few times I've gone there, it's been a new set of workers. So they haven't even gotten
They don't know
a
you. They don't know
staff
you.
yet. Yeah,
They
they
don't
don't.
know you.
Mm.
They don't know
But
what
like I
you're
was
about.
saying, there's not many people who we worked with at Marvel who still love comics.
Bro. So going back to what I was saying, it's like the reason why I like watching your pull list is because I'm like, this guy he still loves the medium. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and he's buying new shit. I'm like, I don't really care for new shit. You know, like I barely when I had the funds to finally
Mhm.
afford comics, a lot of the good stuff already came and went. So when you guys met me, I think it was like 98.
Yep.
A
Sounds
lot
about right.
of the
Yeah.
good stories were already told. And I didn't have money to buy those issues, right?
Yep.
So I'm doing a lot of back reading, retroactive reading, but you're reading stuff from now and I'm like, I'm not interested in that stuff, you know?
I was just telling him at the beginning of the show, I got my pull list. And every week, matter of fact, it just came in, I'd get a final order cutoff
What?
email. Final order cutoff email
Oh,
from my comic shop. That's when the last time the final order cutoff is Monday at 10 p.m. And my comic shop sends me an email of all the books that I can pre-order as long as I pre-order them before this Monday.
I see.
And I love going through them each week and seeing what's new and coming out and seeing what I got coming out. And last week, there are so many comics that I want to try. I couldn't even get them all. Like, I already had 8 comics for that week on my pre-order. There was another 7 I would have ordered if money was no object.
I see.
But it's just
see.
like there's so many good new comics. And that's even without Marvel and DC.
I believe
Like
it. I
I'm
believe
buying
it.
almost all indie stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
there are so many good current comics out there right now. I recommend you try some out.
No, here's the thing, and I'll tell you, it's like the kind of person that I am. I'm the same way with food. I don't take risks.
I will show you one that you've never seen before that you will like. It's called Faceless in the Family. This is volume 2.
Okay.
Maze of the Mechanical Aliens. Let me go big here. By Matt Lisnowski. It's from Oni Press. And take a look at this crazy artwork.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Very cool. And the story is Faceless is this guy who it's sort of it reminds me of a Japanese story.
Yeah.
Where he's wearing a mask on his face that is sort of like a basket because due to some family honor, he swore to wear it.
Oh, wow.
And so now he's wandering this strange, crazy earth wearing this mask, sort of like a samurai.
It's like, it reminds me of like one of your paintings.
Yeah, and in this particular issue, what happens is like he's just walking around with some of his boys, and he comes upon this suit of this weird contraption. It turns out it's a suit of armor, and it just attaches itself to him. So now he's trapped in this suit of armor. And he has to go to the big city and figure out and he found a couple other people trapped in suits of armor. And they got to figure out how to get out of them. So it's just a wild story, unlike anything out there.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's a lot of fun.
Can you show me the credits page on that thing? Because I recognize that thing from somewhere.
The credits page, let me see.
The trade dress page design.
Carl Bowlers is editing it.
Okay.
Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because all the logos and the way they're set up, it looks like a Bonelli comic from Italy.
Ah. Faceless in the Family.
Wait, Villarubia. Jose Villarubia is the colorist, right?
Is that who that was? Let me see. No, there's no color. Oh, maybe the color.
No, I saw is that Villarubia in there?
Cover B, Kelly Jones and Jose Villarubia. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I got colors on one of the covers.
I got a story about that guy.
Yeah.
It's not about him. It's what I did to him.
What did you do to him?
When I was about 15 or no, I want to say 12 years old, I went to one of my first cons at the Marriott Hotel. It was the Marriott Hotel in like near Grand Central Station.
Yeah.
And it was hosted by a guy named Max the Card Shark. He was a name that was known in the early cons, days of the cons in the 90s, before Comic-Con and before Wizard Con. So Villarubia was at the con, and I remember Jay Lee was at the con as well, and Jay Lee was John Hellshock at the time. I know you know this, Wilson. Hellshock, right?
I know the book, yes.
So me and this is when Image Comics was booming, right? So me and one of my friends, we were like psyched for all the Image stuff. And then I remember one of the women who was the illustrator of the Topps X-Files covers, but she was there. Or one of the writers.
Miriam Kim?
Yeah, I think it was her. I remember.
I don't know how I pulled that name out of my head.
She had nipple rings. She was wearing nipple rings.
Okay.
I remember that. And I was like, 14-year-old me was like, huh, doesn't that hurt? So anyway, I don't know how old I was. I think I could have been like, about 14. So Jose Villarubia was there, and he was sitting at a table. And Max the Card Shark came up to us towards the end, and he goes, "Hey, did you guys get to meet any of the creators that you wanted to meet?" And we were like, "Yeah." And then he goes, "Did you guys get to meet Jose Villarubia?" And I went, he's just a colorist. Nobody cares about the colorist, right? And then my buddy was like, "Yeah, he's just a colorist. Who gives a damn about colorists?" Like, we were being very vulgar. Jose Villarubia was standing right behind us, listening to this. So then the guy goes, Max the Card Shark goes, he's standing right behind you. So we turn and I go, "Oh my God." So we were like, "Oh, sorry, man, we didn't mean that."
Mortified.
So years later, when I was working when I was in the bullpen, this was at the 10 East 40th location.
Yep.
And Villarubia comes through, and I was like, "Hey man, I gotta apologize to you." He was like, What did you do?" And I told him, and I was like, he goes, "I don't remember anything like that happening to me." And I was like, "You don't remember that?" I was like, "I straight up disrespected you to your face." I would remember that forever. But he's a great colorist.
I'm used to it.
But he's a great colorist, though.
I used to say to Dave Sharp all the time, when he was getting no respect because he was a letterer.
Oh my God!
I would go, there's the letterer thinking he's a human being again.
But you want to hear something crazy though? I do have a favorite letterer, believe it or not. Can you guess
who your favorite letterer is?
Yes, and it's just one. It's just one guy. Tom Orzechowski.
Well, I guess it's not Janice Chang. That was what I was going to guess.
Orzechowski.
Okay.
Okay.
I love his balloons.
I think he's still lettering Spawn. Let me see.
But he does it digitally, bro. He doesn't do that shit. By hand, it was beautiful.
He probably still has some beautiful stuff digitally. But this was actually a solid issue of Spawn.
They still produce that book?
They still do. I started buying it because it was the last $3 book. It has since gone up to $4, but I'm still buying it. Why the heck not? It's okay. Right now, it's being done by Matthew Rosenberg, Stefan Segovia, colors by Robert Nugent, and lettering by Tom Warzakowski. There's some Tom Warzakowski blam blams for you, and a slit.
Nah, that's not the Tom Warzakowski I knew. He went and changed. He thinks he's better than us because he has technology.
I always lettered with technology, taught by Dave Sharp, by the way.
Oh,
but yeah, it's like I would not be able to do it with my handwriting.
do you also drink your glasses of water like this?
Water? No, who drinks water?
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Maybe his Perrier.
It's coffee all the time.
Look, you see the pinky? Look at the pinky. You see?
Of course.
Remember Jerry used to have that long pinky nail for whatever reason?
Oh, yeah. The cocaine pinky nail, even though I don't think he ever did cocaine.
Yeah, Jerry wasn't a cokehead.
Huh.
But
Infinity says, through time, you say.
Oh, I have to. One of these days, I'm going to have to go online with Captain Infinity, and I'm going to have to explain to him how time travel works in the Marvel universe. Because we'll probably end up breaking one of his time travel laws, especially that issue with Cool and Goth. It definitely breaks the second law.
Ah. Tit Goblin's referring to Chris Geruso arguing with me over nothing.
No. Chris and Jared arguing? It's been this way since.
I'm still not even sure what Chris's point is, by the way.
Listen, bro, I'm gonna tell you. When Jared is, he asked the question, "Why you and Chris argue?" Is that what it is?
No. He was just there was one day I was referring to something Todd McFarlane said once.
Okay.
Back when he was right before he was drawing Spawn. If you ever notice how Todd McFarlane draws chains, it's like 2 lines this way. Whoops, 2 lines this way, 1 line this way. It's very graphic designy.
Yeah.
And he said once he figured that out, he put chains everywhere.
Yeah.
I said I noticed that influencing a lot of people.
That's like Rob Liefeld with the shoulder pads.
And then Chris started arguing with me, and I'm not exactly sure what his point of view was, besides I was wrong and Todd McFarlane did not invent drawing chains. And I was like,
no.
And we argued for much time. But like I said, I'm at this point, I'm still not sure what his point was, because I was just quoting Todd McFarlane.
I can see where you're coming from.
Right.
Basically, Todd McFarlane made it
a highly influential artist, might we add.
Right. He made it a thing. He made it a thing. It's like your comic book is not complete unless if it has chains.
Well, I think Chris disagrees with that. As far as I can, a lot of it, as he just said, he likes to argue with me because he knows I'm not going to get mad at him.
Oh no! Jared gets mad if you punch him in the stomach a couple of times. He'll get mad.
That's when I'll get mad at you.
That's when he'll kill you. He'll kill you. Wilson, were you there for that?
I was not. This does not sound familiar at all.
No, he was there. He was just on the other side of the building.
I was on the other side. That's the other thing too. I only saw bits and pieces of things that gone on in the bullpen.
That's when I got mad at Julio, grabbed him by the lapel, and
I was like, "What's Jared gets angry?"
You were just looking at me.
I was like, "Were you?
What's he getting mad for?"
I was like, "I thought he was only programmed to show 2 emotions." I'm like, "But the Giants didn't lose yesterday. Like, why are you angry?"
My favorite part of that whole thing, me getting mad at you, was Johnny Green
laughing.
No, he wasn't laughing yet. He was you after you realized I had gotten mad.
Yeah.
And you were like, hey, did you see that? Oh my God. Oh my God, he got mad. Johnny, he got mad. He got mad. And Johnny was just like, we'll get him later.
We'll get 'em later.
We'll get him later. That was the fun. Johnny calming you down, going, don't worry, we saw it. We'll get him later.
And everybody was in shock. It's how
Yeah.
everybody's jaws dropped. Like Jerry gets angry. Like, oh man. But wait, I want to ask you a question, Wilson. So
Sure.
I noticed that you like to collect toys too.
Yes.
Now, does anybody else here collect toys? Paulo, do you collect toys?
No, I don't have the room.
Oh,
And if
okay.
if I had the room and money, I would collect miniature cars.
Oh, like
He's
hot
a
toys?
car guy.
Like what is it? Hot Wheels?
Hot
No,
Wheels,
no, 124s. From
Hot Wheels are 164s.
Oh, so it's
124s
slightly
are
bigger?
about that.
yeah, bigger, yeah.
Oh,
124s or 143. 143s are easy to store, and most of the auto racing cars are done in 143. I can show it right now because it's in the living room. But I was given once a cool 118, like this big. It's a rep. It's a car that was financed by Hitler.
What?
Yeah.
He
So,
drove that? He drove that car?
No. He only signed the checks. Because they gave it to me in an Audi, in a media presentation for Audi. And before World War II, Audi was called Ultra Union.
Yo, wait. What kind of society do you belong to where they give you Nazi replicas?
No. I'm a car journalist, and I used to get miniatures of cars. Most of them were kind of boring, but I got that.
You got Baron Zemo here hanging out with y'all.
Which reminds me, you can. I'll have to tell you which episode that Chris took us on a tour of the studio and showed us all the toys.
Oh, he has a lot of stuff.
He's got a lot of stuff.
But like I would say he and Wilson are in line with what they like as far as figures are concerned.
I was just thinking of mailing Wilson some toys because I probably got a bunch of them out in the garage that I haven't looked at in 20 years.
Damn.
Random loose toys. I know I got some Swamp Things.
Oh, nice. I just got my first Kenner Swamp Thing about a month ago.
Kenner?
Kenner did a set of Swamp Things back when Swamp Thing had his cartoon show. And so I have a glow-in-the-dark one. It stands really well with the Superpowers collection.
They went into the clearance bin at like KB Toys sometime in the 90s.
Damn.
That's when I got them. Every now and then I'd buy one. So if you message me your address, I'll put them in a box and send them to you.
Sure thing. Yeah, and it'll be fun. And
they haven't seen the light of day in a long time.
You're not the only person that has contacted me and said, "Hey, do you want these?"
Wow.
But yes, I'll definitely take them. So yeah, I've been, collecting stuff over the years, and I still have like my original Secret Wars action figures and stuff like that. And what it was is that I kept them in a shoebox for a long time. And when I was working at Marvel, I was picking up the Toy Biz toys at that time because again, KB, you get three action figures for $5. So I would just get them, and for a long time I just kept them in the closet in a box. And I decided, you know what? I have the wall space. I started putting stuff up and started going through them, and it's like, so my Secret Wars, and these are all videos that I have here and there, especially on TikTok. I don't know if you're on TikTok at all, Jules, but
you can follow his mail, the hauls he gets in the mail on TikTok.
Yeah, so I do a whole like revisiting Toy Biz because I want to have the figures as well as the accessories. And what I do is I buy them open because it's a lot cheaper when they're open and loose, and not complete because what I'll do is I'll buy a bundle of just accessories and I'll go through them. And I guess because of my own OCD, it's like,
Oh.
oh, here this gun goes to this character, this gun goes to that character. And on occasion, when you buy them in a bundle, not only do I get the figures that I want to complete, but I occasionally will run into an odd thing that ends up being worth quite a lot of money. So I end up reselling that on my eBay
Oh.
store. And what that does is that funds everything
Oh.
else. So when I bought recently the Iron Man parts, I got a set of parts for. I got these pieces. Now these pieces, although it looks like the Iron Man pieces, is actually a Captain Planet
Oh
armor.
yeah. Yep.
And so it's the Captain Planet upper armor and his gauntlets. And doing a little research, we could get people want $40 for them on eBay.
Wow.
And I happened to buy it for $10 because I bought a whole bunch of other Iron Man armors. So
Yeah.
being able to identify the pieces can be quite beneficial in that way. I even got what I was surprised with is yesterday I got a bunch of stuff, again, mostly Toy Biz. And so this came in one of the packages with
What is
the
that?
it
Is that a
look
pearl
so
necklace? Is that a
it's
pearl?
just it's an orange looking item that I thought it might have been mistaken for a pumpkin bomb,
Yeah.
because it looks like one of the pumpkin bombs. I don't have one here, but again, it took me a while to figure out what it is because it's just an orange. Turns out it's a boulder. It's an orange boulder for a Mighty Max toy,
Huh.
and I found it online. Someone's selling it for $100,
Damn.
and it's like, now who knows if I'll get $100 for it? But it's like it's a piece for a toy from a toy set that's well loved. And they're, Mighty Max, if you guys don't know, Mighty Max
90s.
are these tiny toys that you open up the
I remember
figure.
those.
So I have the Godzilla version of it.
I never had Mighty Max. That was
And
too rich for my
so
blood.
so the Godzilla one, you open it up and there's a little diorama inside, right? And then there'll be a little Godzilla, little pieces of let me put the top on it. So you open it up and there's a little play set. So Godzilla had one, Marvel did it for
Ooh.
Spider-Man, and the one that I think started it all was one called Mighty Max. And so the figure would be just a tiny little figure, and it would have like an adventure thing. So that piece is a boulder that would chase Max in this like little game playset thing. And it turns out that it's so easy to lose. And when I looked at it, I really thought it was I thought it was a piece of candy that got thrown in with the toys.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at it, it looks like rock candy. It's like, no,
Wow.
this is a piece. And luckily I was able to identify it on eBay what it was. And so, finding that is pretty neat. And again, I only paid a couple of bucks for that bag of accessories. It doesn't happen all the time, but occasionally when you're buying them in a lot, you end up getting something pretty neat from it. So I started going through the stuff I already had. I bought a lot of the Iron Man stuff, a lot of the Spider-Man stuff, and through the Marvel universe when it came out from Toy Biz. And again, it was one of those things that I sold a lot of them too from my eBay store as well, because again, at one point it's like, oh, what am I going to do with all these toys? So I started selling them. But again, it was one of those things like, in the summer, sometimes I pick a project to work on. And one of the projects was, oh, you know what? I wouldn't mind having at least the Spider-Man ones back. Because I still kept Spider-Man himself and has sold some of the villains. So I, was doing what I'm calling Toy Biz Revisited and going back to it. Where other people were just like revisiting Star Wars, but that ends up being very expensive,
Yep.
and to the point where it's like, oh, I had Star Wars when I was a kid, but I didn't have that many, and I was on that cusp of, oh, Star Wars was ending. I really got into the superhero stuff. So Secret Wars was my thing, and I got them all except for the ones that were only available overseas. So it's Iceman, Constrictor, and Electro. Those I still don't have because they were never released in the United States. And the amount of money that people want for those is like, oh, I'm not going to do that.
Does can Paulo get those for you?
I don't know. He might even have them when he was a kid. He might have played with them and got rid of them.
In the 90s, I made a chess set out of Marvel metal figures that were about that big.
The Toy Biz ones?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, because those would have been the best ones to do it with, because before that time, there was a pewter set, but they didn't do a lot of superheroes. And they were tiny. They were, you would get them wherever you bought D&D stuff.
These ones were a couple inches high, and they weren't pewter. They were metal and painted.
Yeah, so those would have been the Toy Biz Metal Mutants is what the X-Men ones were called. So those I still have a bunch of those as well. So it was, I had rebuilt a Star Wars ship, and it was like, oh, that was fun, but will be my next project for the summer. And it was like, oh, maybe I want to get back into the Toy Biz toys, because again, still pretty inexpensive compared to the Star Wars toys.
Yeah.
So that's why I ended up revisiting Toy Biz, because again, it's like, and since I have the Marvel knowledge, I could at least talk about the characters and stuff like that. And it was kind of neat to be there at Marvel when these toys are being made.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's crazy is that speaking of Toy Biz, well, when I got to Marvel, I wasn't a toy guy. And it wasn't until I was like, this grown ass men in this office collecting toys with no shame, right? Because you had to hide. But I think comic fandom in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, you had to hide that.
Oh yeah,
because you couldn't socially come out and tell people, hey, I read comics or I collect toys. Something's wrong with you. So then Johnny had his bookshelf full of toys.
Yes.
And it was Johnny Green who was like, you gotta collect toys. And I was like, no, I wanna attract females. he was like, nah, man, there's nothing wrong with collecting toys. So I remember I got on eBay, and the first thing I collected was Bionic 6. I tried to complete the whole Bionic 6 collection.
Very nice.
And I still have my Bionic 6 collection open and unopened from that time. But then I remember that's when I was getting into Toy Biz, and Toy Biz acquired Marvel around that time. And one of my buddies, Amos, I'm pretty sure you guys know him by name, Amos, he's a sculptor.
Oh yeah.
And
right.
Yeah, when we were working at 10 East 40th, he was actually coming into the building, dropping off freelance sculpting work that he was doing for Jesse Falcon and for Toy Biz.
Okay.
Right.
So what would happen was Jesse, I was working on remember the inserts for the Toy Biz comics, for the Toy Biz figures, the comic book inserts?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing the comic book inserts. I was doing the production work on those, working with Jesse. And then Amos was actually sculpting like the Silver Surfer with Dave Cortez. He was like assisting Dave, and he would deliver the prototypes to Marvel. Jesse would call me within 10 minutes of Amos leaving. And this is because I hadn't met Amos until I started working at DC Comics. But he'd be like, hey, the sculptor just came by and dropped off like a ghostwriter. Come downstairs and check it out. So that's when I was kind of getting into toys more because of Johnny and because of Jesse Falcon. And then in 2011, when I moved out here, I decided to completely stop collecting toys. Because by that point, I had moved so much that it was just a pain in the ass to just pick up everything and just repack and then just, relocate. I went to a Toys R Us store out here. Imagine,
By out here, he means Japan.
yes, yeah. Imagine you spend your whole life doing sexual favors for drugs. And then you go, you know what? I don't want to do sexual favors for drugs anymore. I'm a clean person. And then you go somewhere where the drugs are at a different level. And you go, you know what? Not only am I willing to go back to doing sexual favors, but I would also kill. So that's what happened to me when I came out here in 2011. I went to a Toys R Us. I was just curious, and I walk and I see this gigantic 12-inch Optimus Prime, all die cast. And I was like, that's what they sell out here? So I was like, I'll just get that one, and I'll get that die cast Buzz Lightyear. And I was like, I think I'll be back for that Megatron. So then I came back a week later, and I was like, you know what? Optimus is feeling kind of lonely, so I'll get this Megatron. And these are the Transformers masterpieces, by the way, Wilson.
Yeah.
Right.
So then, not only did my wife was like, she was like, you do realize you're breaking your promise. And I told her, you need to shut up or I'm going to break our promise. So I was like, you found me this way. So anyways,
you knew I was broken.
Yeah. So like this place, man, like it fucked me up because like the toys out here, bro, they take it to another level.
I remember you telling me about how they buy comics in Japan too, because I remember you telling me that there was used bookstores.
Yeah.
You'd go in and you'd buy the entire run of whatever book you wanted to read.
Yeah.
And then when you were done reading it, you sold it back to the bookstore.
Yeah.
Except Julio was like, I'm going to keep all mine.
Yeah.
Did you end up keeping them all?
To be honest, I sold some back because that's when I first started reading stuff on the iPad.
Okay.
Because I was like, wait a minute, because initially I was against the iPad, but then I was like, wait a minute, I could have like 2,000 comics in here.
Yeah.
And I don't have to dig through my comics, and I don't have to ship them to and from. You know,
you're moving all around.
Yeah.
Comics are heavy.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm here because, you know, we're visiting family and friends, but also because I do a lot of pre-ordering and I have it shipped to a friend's house. So I got about...
Hold on a second. All these years later, you're not only buying toys, you're having a friend buy toys for you in Japan and then having them shipped back home.
And you have a problem with this?
Toys.
Do you have a problem with this?
No, I'm not your wife.
Oh, okay.
That's how I used to. That's how I used to get a lot of my toys from Japan. Was a buddy of mine's mom still lived in Japan, and he would get a shipment of stuff, and I'll be like, "All right, what are you getting?" And that's how I got some of my Kamen Rider toys and stuff like that. You know.
Here's a story about comics from Japan in my mid-'80s college days. So my roommate, you know, knows I'm a comics fan. It's like, hey, my mother's going to Japan. This is like 1987. So Japanese comics weren't all over the place here then. There's still some, the first ones were in, but not a ton. He's like, oh, do you want her to pick up any comics for you? I'm like, just go to the store and get me whatever. But it just happened to be at that time, sadomasochistic sex comics were the big thing in Japan. So he comes back. His mother comes back, and he gives me the comics. He's like, thanks a lot. Now my mother thinks I'm a pervert. He's like, here, this is the safest comic she could find. This random, like, funny animal comic. He's like, you sent my mother into a porno store.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. She goes, you can't be friends with that guy no more.
Ted Goblin says Bionic 6 toys had really good color design.
They did, and you know, who's Titty? What's his name? Titties?
Tit Goblin.
Tit Goblin.
Oh, he likes breasts. So do I.
What gives it away?
Yeah, what gives it away? You know, with Bionic 6 is I purchased I found this guy on eBay who was selling like copies of like the character designs
Hmm.
from Japan, because Bionic 6 was actually produced by an American and a Japanese company. It was a collaboration, and that was very common in the 80s with a lot of those cartoons that were on like the Saturday morning lineup.
Yeah, in order to do a successful toy line, had to have a comic book and a cartoon show.
Yeah.
And usually, what they would do is they would team up with a studio. So that's why you had Sunbow doing all the Marvel stuff like GI Joe and Transformers, and Marvel was doing the comic books in order for Hasbro to sell those things.
And, and,
So
and
Bionic 6, I believe, was LJN.
Yeah,
Was
LJN, yeah.
and what it was you weren't allowed to advertise the toy that your cartoon show starred, but you could advertise the comic book. So that's what the toy companies did. That's why they always wanted a comic book, was
Oh,
because as if the toy show itself wasn't an advertisement for the toys.
right.
But
That
they
was
could
a legal
also
thing.
put in actual advertisements for the comic book.
Follow
Which was
the
an advertisement
Adventures
for
in
the
Marvel
toys.
Comics for GI Joe.
wasn't that a legal issue? Like an actual,
Yes.
like, because
You legally
parents
could not advertise, have commercials for the toys if the cartoon show was about those toys. So
yeah,
like
because it was advertising to kids.
a G.I. Joe cartoon couldn't advertise G.I. Joe toys,
Oh,
but it could advertise G.I. Joe comic book.
huh,
We didn't have that issue in Europe.
huh.
They could advertise the toys. The thing is, sometimes the cartoons got here after the toys went out of production.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
And speaking
So-
of a comic book that's still around,
like
the
Brave
one
Star.
that Wilson
Remember Brave
missed out
Star?
on,
Brave Star.
Savage Dragon.
I do remember Brave Star. Savage Dragon missed my book.
Issue 280. Always good.
Oh wow.
Not
drawing
Chris
that?
Russo. As Chris has done Savage Dragon stuff before, I'll give you a little look at the art. And have you read Savage Dragon at all, Julio, in the last, I don't know, 10 years?
Chris Jeruso is the he's like the Jehovah's Witness of Savage Dragon.
He's the president of the Savage Dragon fan club. He's the one who got me reading
Yes,
it.
he got me. That's what I was gonna say. He will convert you.
Yeah.
Chris will find a way to convert you.
I did not read Savage Dragon until about issue 70. Chris was there at Marvel. He was a big fan. I read a couple issues. And Chris even says, I said to him, this is everything that's bad with comics today. When I read an early issue of Savage Dragon. But then he loved it so much. Every month he'd be like, new Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
That I finally went, I'm just going to put it on my pull list and see if I can see what Chris sees in it. Just because I'm like, he likes it so much. There's got to be something good to it if he likes it that much. Well, and issue 70 happened to be the same issue where he blew up Savage Dragon's whole world and did a commandy Jack Kirby thing with Savage Dragon. So it was the perfect jumping on point for me, it turned out.
Oh, cool.
And I've been buying it ever since.
Right.
I even went back and got the first 69 issues that I didn't have.
Do you think at that moment Chris phoned to Eric Larson and says, "Yo, I almost got one, but you're gonna have to change. You're gonna have to dig through your bag of magic tricks and make it more Kirby-ish so you can hook this one." That's probably what Chris did.
But Savage Dragon hasn't starred in his own book in about a decade. He died.
I know, because Malcolm. Well, he died.
Malcolm Dragon. But now we've got Paul.
Wait. You're going. Wait. Savage Dragon died.
Yes.
Eric Larson killed him.
I can't even remember how he died because he died more than once.
So and Chris is not upset.
No, I don't think so.
No, because the story continues with his son Malcolm,
Right.
and you focus on Malcolm.
Wow.
So I
And
think
again, if the story is good, he's
I think Dragon died. Malcolm took over. Dragon came back. Then I think he died again. Is how it went.
Is his
You
name
know,
Professor
comics.
X?
And also, what happened was when he blew up issue 70 and he blew up the whole world and went to this commandy thing. Savage Dragon's original world actually all died, except for Savage Dragon, and he
I
was
remember
now
this.
this new alternate world.
Yep.
Then
I remember this.
eventually he didn't get back to his original world because it blew up.
And then he met some love interest, right?
And he went to some world that was sort of like his own, and he just went, eh. And I think that one blew up too. So then he was on his third world. And then what happened, like it must be 100 issues ago now, was all the Savage Dragon multiverses converged into one universe. So it's like people suddenly had memories of other people's universes because they all merged into one.
Yeah, I remember this.
And right now, there he is. People, matter of fact, in this issue was all about like Savage Dragon's back, and that's not Savage Dragon, that's Paul Dragon. That's
Paul?
the Savage Dragon from the very first Savage Dragon story.
What? Wait. So then that's not Malcolm's father, then, right?
That's not Malcolm's father. Malcolm is annoyed with him because because he's got the memories of Malcolm's father, but he's not actually Malcolm's father. He's Paul. His main memories are Paul Dragon, who was the original Savage Dragon from like Graphic Story Monthly or number 1 and 2.
Yeah, back in the 80s.
This just shows me that Eric Larson has a problem. That's what it is. This is the cry for help. Eric Larson should be in a mental facility because you know what? I wonder if Eric Larson knows who his family is.
Well, you missed out on when he turned it to a more adult comic and gave us nudity and sex.
I've seen those. Jared, I read Savage Dragon all the way up to like issue 250, I think.
Okay.
So
we're only on 280.
Yes, I'm behind by.
So you read that stuff, okay?
Yeah, because Chris, when I moved out here, I had very little to do, so I read most of my Savage Dragon issues through my iPad, and I became a fan. And I got to give it to Eric Larson. Eric Larson does not forget why people like us from our generation got into comics.
Eric Larson loves comics and is enthusiastic about them, and it shows in Savage Dragon.
And that's why, like, to me,
Sleepy Reader's here. Hello, Sleepy Reader. We got Jules with us tonight, another former Marvel bullpenner.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Eric Larson's style, or
neither was I. I like it now. I still had no interest in his Spider-Man.
No, his Spider-Man was interesting.
Spider-Man, but again, I was heavily collecting Spider-Man at that time, and following McFarlane, it was like, okay, it's not the same thing, but the energy's there.
Right, the energy.
Yeah.
Eric Larson's cover for Spider-Man 1000.
Yes, it looks good. It has.
I like it. I might buy
it.
that just to get that cover, even though it's $10.
That might be the one I will get.
It's disorienting, which is what I like about it. If you haven't seen the cover, it's a picture. It's either a picture of Spider-Man falling. You can't tell if he's coming up or going down.
I see.
It's kind of disorienting because you can see it's kind of like he's falling on you, and there's all the buildings behind, like above him, sort of like in 3-point perspective.
Oh, I see.
But he could also be going away from you. It's like this weird.
No, he's falling. He doesn't fly. He's falling.
Well, he's not flying, but he does move strange. He moves like. I like the sort of tension of I don't know. I'm not exactly sure about the visual of which way he's moving.
True. He could be leaping, right? He could be leaping backwards, right?
He could very well be leaping backwards.
He could be leaping backwards. He could be falling, one or the other. But like I said,
got off of a swing,
I really liked it.
And he's in the air, momentum.
And it's got a Ditko-esque quality to it.
Does
It's
it has
not
like,
quite as jagged as his.
yeah, it feels like Ditko and Art Adams
Oh wow.
kind of a thing because he's like the webbing reminds me of Art Adams, but the body shape and pose has a Ditko feel to it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like or Savage Dragon. It doesn't look like this sort of angled Savage Dragon drawing he's doing. It's all smooth and rounded, more like Ditko.
I've never seen him inked smoothly. Eric Larson.
You've never seen what?
I've never seen his pencils inked smoothly.
Well, I haven't seen anyone ink him in a long time. I mean, Savage Dragon, he inks himself. So, I mean, he just draws an ink now.
Wait, the Savage Dragon inks himself? So it's...
Eric Larson usually inks himself, yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought you said that.
No, Eric Larson, not the Savage Dragon himself.
Eric Larson on Savage Dragon inks himself.
Bro, you ever see that video, a hot take on me, when the head came out the comic book page? It's like the Savage Dragon inks himself, like...
Oh, MC Escher. That's who you're talking about. MC Escher has like a drawing of him inking a hand, drawing another hand, two hands drawing each other. That's what
What Julio means is the music video from Aha, Take On Me. It's a comic book, and his hand comes out and grabs the girl. And brings
Eric's pencil holding is crazy. That's right. Have you ever seen Eric Larson draw?
I've seen it. I've seen that at the Comic-Con.
Live, yeah.
And you know me, I made fun of him to his face.
Yeah, of course.
I made fun of him. I was like, yo, you really do hold your pencil that way.
Yep. Yeah, they're truths.
You may as well be a colorist.
Hey, careful. Since we were talking about G.I. Joe, I did pick up a new issue of G.I. Joe. Skybound.
Who drew that?
This was
Waringo.
By...
Was that Waringo? From the grave?
Let's see. Doesn't really specify the cover artist on the inside.
Does it say on the indicia?
The indicia is
sometimes
green,
it says
green
not the
lettering.
indicia, the UPC. Sometimes it says in the UPC box now.
Green lettering on black.
Green on black.
Green on black, and the UPC here says cover A. Okay, so if they have a listing of the covers on the back, like some of the other books,
like a civilized company would.
Do not see that, and let's see, reading glasses. If this, the interior artist is Andrea Malena.
A woman drew that?
I guess. Yeah, women are allowed to draw comics, Julio.
No, they're not. According to Anchorman, women are not.
No, all the way back to you got to learn your history.
No, according to Will Ferrell, women are not allowed to tell the news either. So I don't know what the hell this is.
According to who?
According to Will Ferrell, Ron Burgundy.
Never heard of him.
According to Ron Burgundy, women are not allowed to tell the movie.
Okay, Will Ferrell.
No, I've heard of Marie Severin, so I don't know who this Will Ferrell guy is. So
I know of Marie Severin, and I'm like, who let her in the building?
Standard.
I'm being very sexist right now.
You are. The viewpoints of Julio is not.
No, it's very funny. No, it's very funny to be sexist because it just shows you how stupid men were at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's girls in comic book shops, bro. Girls know how to read. Like, they're gonna be everywhere.
You're mocking sexist men. That's what
there you go.
It's satire.
But it's hilarious. Like, women are allowed to hold pencils. Like, you're not.
Let me show you the last two comics I got are the last issue, though I heard it say is the last issue of season 1 of Dead Samurai with the last Bill Sienkiewicz cover here.
Whoa.
I've enjoyed these. First of all, the cover themselves have this metallic sheen to them, very heavy paper.
How
For
much
$6 an issue, you get a good package.
Wow.
But I've enjoyed this series, Zombies versus Samurai.
What?
All Bill Sienkiewicz covers.
What time? What time? Is it a modern story?
No.
Is it?
It takes place during the age of samurai. Let me see. I don't know if it gives a year. But whenever there were samurai with swords running around.
Yeah, Edo period will be the 1890s.
It may have. I don't think there's any guns in it.
This is before Tom Cruise arrived.
Before Tom Cruise arrived. And the other one, Joseph Schmalke's 7 Years in Darkness, 72 Keys, Year 4. So this is the one that's about a wizard school. And we're in year 4. Each one is about 4 issues each year. And the school opens once every 100 years or so. And 100 students go in and only 4 live through it.
So about 96 of them die?
Yes. And it's a rough school. But I'm enjoying this. Like I said, this is the 4th year of it. 4 issues a year. So it's been fun. And Wilson tells us G.I. Joe number 23 covers by Tom Riley. I know the name, but I can't.
I know the name.
Picture what he's done.
Yeah, I know the name too.
Names have been around for a while, but I don't know his work. Sort of like, let's see, the guy who did Dead Samurai is Ryan Benjamin, right? Yeah, artist is Ryan Benjamin. And I know.
Let me see the interiors. Let me see the interiors.
He's been I think he's worked for Marvel and stuff for years.
Yeah, he probably did Mutant X stuff. I'm thinking of somebody named
but
Ryan.
I don't know his work at all.
That looks pretty cool.
But it's been a good series if you like historical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the conflict was in the first issues, like zombies attacked the castle.
Oh.
And a lot of people died, and I think the main lord died. And then the whole story was the one guy protecting the lord's son, and the other guy wanted to take over. He's like, our lord is dead. I'm going to be the new lord. So there was also all sorts of conflict going on, mostly between the samurais.
There was a Korean.
But there was also zombies ready to kill them whenever they could.
There was a Korean TV show on Netflix that was kind of like that, where zombies attacked like this, it was a time period. It was, I want to say like the 1700s or the 1600s.
Mm-hmm.
In Korea, zombies were attacking like the people who lived in the high society, and it was kind of like that. And like at the time, Korea was at war with Japan. I think it was like the 16 or 1700s. So
they were at war a lot of times.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, I'm not good with my
Kingdom.
time periods in the East.
I believe the show was called Kingdom, and it was.
I think so.
Good. I remember watching it.
Doesn't that remind you of that, Wilson?
That does. When he first showed it to me, it was like, oh, there was a show similar to that.
Yeah, yeah.
But it took place
in
Korea.
Familiar?
Yeah.
So the last set of books I have is Kato 84.
That's the Usagi one by different people that takes place in the future.
Why 84? Why 84?
I think it's 1984 it takes place.
I think it's supposed to be 1984.
Because I remember there was a movie called Class of 1984.
No, that's a different thing altogether.
Okay. That's the one where Michael J. Fox got killed. He got stabbed in the stomach.
I don't remember that one. We have Superman 39.
Playing with the form there.
Yep.
That's where Kirby. That's Kirby.
The foreshortening on the hand.
Yeah.
Very Neil Adams, too, the way the fingers are bent.
Ooh, I think we just had lightning.
Ooh.
Amazing Spider-Man number 31. I like this cover. I don't like Spider-Man on the cover. I like the design of the cover. And I guess Aunt May and Uncle Ben is going to give Peter the talk. Again, just going by the cover.
What kind of
We
talk? What
have
kind of talk?
I
birds of the
believe we
deep.
find out that Peter may actually have a cousin, so they may be a lost son of Aunt May and Uncle Ben.
What?
That's
Wait a minute.
that's what I got from when I flipped through it.
Time out. Are they saying that Aunt May and Uncle Ben had intercourse?
No, they waited for the stalk to come in and
Oh,
and,
okay.
and bring them the child.
Okay, so
Yeah,
then
married couples usually do.
Yeah, so back in that time period, you know,
Twin bed.
Absolute Batman issue number 21. I guess
Have,
this is introducing Two-Face.
have you been keeping up with Absolute Batman or
me?
no? Wilson. Sometimes he doesn't get to reading these for a long
I
time.
did read the beginning of this one, and it's interesting because Batman's being hunted by the Robins, and so they're
What?
using the names of the Robin characters, but they're all in different kind of like mechs and different kind of suits. So I do not know exactly
Are,
what's going on. I've been getting the books. I haven't been reading them all that much yet.
are you aware of Absolute Batman, Jules?
I heard about it for the first time like 4 months ago because
Okay.
Omar visited Colorado. Remember
I
Omar?
heard from Omar. I haven't heard from
Yeah,
Omar in ages. Besides,
Omar
he's in
stayed.
our fantasy football league.
Oh, he still is. Okay, so
But even then, he doesn't interact a whole lot.
okay, so he was putting me on to that, and then he was telling me about it. And EJ still buys comics. By the way, EJ
Okay,
still buys
good.
comics. Yeah, he's like you. He buys a lot of other stuff. I think he might be into manga,
Okay.
which
I
I'm
haven't seen
against.
him on social media in years.
He doesn't get on social media.
He used to show us his bow hunting.
Yeah, he still does a lot of hunting out there.
Okay. Yeah, because like the Absolute Batman is very different from the normal one in that, like, from what I haven't actually read it, from what I've heard about it, it's like, first of all, some people online call it Big Dumb Batman. That's how it's referred to.
Okay.
But it's like all of the villains were his friends in the beginning.
Oh.
So Joker, I don't know, whoever, they were all friends in the beginning, and he wasn't rich. He wasn't Bruce Wayne. They were all, I guess, hanging out in Gotham somewhere. And then slowly they became his villains.
Huh.
So I think that's why they're slowly.
Batman without money.
Right.
Huh.
And I think the whole thing comes down to Apocalypse messing with the timeline. But I'm not.
Apocalypse? You mean
not
Dark Side?
Apocalypse. Sorry, Darkseid had done something to like ruin all the superheroes. But again, I have not read outside of the few Batman books. And then the last book that I have in the collection that I picked up is Sundar the Barbarian.
Oh wow.
Issue number 5.
A lot of people are liking that.
I'm enjoying the little bit that I've read. And
is that Hanna-Barbera?
Yes. So it was a cartoon back in the day. And so now Dynamite Entertainment is doing stories about them. And it's an interesting story because they're kind of not necessarily time traveling, but doing a little bit of time traveling. We're finding out the history of how the characters met each other. And there's a group of wizards who are trying to tap into the energy of the comet that destroyed the Earth. So there is a bit of time travel to try to get the energy, and because of the time travel, they may have affected Sundar's past, so he may have never actually got to meet them, and he may have stayed a barbarian gladiator. So it is jumping through not only time, but maybe even alternate dimension of messing with the power and stuff like that. And again, comic book that I like, and I did the coloring of the first issue alternate cover that was only available on Whatnot.
Wait, you're just a colorist?
On that book, I'm just a colorist. I'm also just a letterer on other books, depending on the company.
I'm sorry, bro. I had to throw that out there. But look,
That's
two
okay. You
things.
go on the list.
What are you talking about? You got
I-
lipstick. You got lipstick in the background. So you got lipstick in the rifle.
No. A list. Not a list. A list.
No, no. I'm talking about. The guy who what was it? Billy Madison when he called the guy he bullied at the end. He apologized. Then he
Yes.
put on the lipstick, and then he crossed him off the list. Remember with the lipstick?
I remember him crossing off the list. I don't remember the lipstick.
It was Buscemi. It was Steve Buscemi. I think it was Steve Buscemi.
Yes. Yes.
But I just wanted to mention with Batman, and I mentioned something about Thunder too. But with Batman, I remember when I stopped being a Batman fan. And it was when I first started working at Marvel, and I used to find a bunch of like comics that will be thrown out,
Right.
and I was like, these people are crazy. They throw comic books away, right? So I was just taking everything home, right?
Yep.
So I found the amalgam issue. I think when Batman fought Punisher, it was illustrated by John Romita Jr.
Mhm.
When Punisher was chasing the Joker, and he put a 12 gauge shotgun right to his face, and he was about to kill him, and the Joker knew this. Batman shows up, beats up the Punisher, and tells the Joker to take off running. And I go, that's it, right? That's the moment when I started hating Batman, because I was like, you do realize Joker's gonna go on and kill about 20 to 30 people within a 2-mile radius. I would have let Punisher kill the Joker and then arrest the Punisher. That's it.
That's why you're not Batman.
No, and
Goblin asks, does Jules know Wilson owns the sky? Copyright Wilson Ramos Jr. No, I don't think he knows that Wilson
No,
owns
not
the
at
sky.
all. I didn't start taking pictures of the sky until way after.
That's a
Marvel.
colorist joke.
okay. I didn't know Wilson owned the sky. Like I was just in the sky a couple of hours ago flying. We
I
didn't
get
take
it,
a
What time
total.
is it in Japan?
Huh?
What time is it in Japan?
It is hold on, my phone should have it. Okay. Because Jared, I live in 3 time zones in my head. I always have to keep New York time, Colorado time, and Japanese time. I have to keep them. So it's 9:37 here now, AM.
AM. So you're it's the 4th of July where you are? Or is
Yes,
it
it
the
is.
3rd of July?
It's the 4th of July, but it means nothing in this country.
Right.
So
Yeah. They don't even have ranch dressing.
they don't. He is hilarious because I have a bottle of ranch dressing in my luggage that I bought for my friends. You think I'm lying, Paulo? You think I'm lying? I'll show you, bro.
Brought it with you.
I-
Asked for
heavily.
that. She asked my wife, "Can you bring ranch dressing?" I'm like, "Yo, this is 2026. Like, we should have ranch dressing. Like, we have movements going around in the world. There should be a ranch dressing movement by this point."
Okay. Do you have pig's ear in Colorado?
No, listen. I don't eat that shit.
Why not? It's delicious.
Who let him in? Who let him in the room?
Oh,
gonna eat-
you're welcome fast, didn't
Hispanic, we eat pig's ears over here, so
you?
Wait a minute.
I'm gonna
Does
eat
my
snails
father-
on Sunday.
I haven't had snails in like
Oh,
over a decade.
I ate codfish
Okay.
yesterday.
yo, are you okay? Do you need us to send you money, Paulo? Like, what do you need?
No, we eat everything here.
Why?
We have natural food without preservatives and additives.
They
You're correct.
take it right from the ocean and eat it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I had sardines for lunch right off the ocean.
Ah.
Wow.
Where does one get snails? Like,
In the fish market.
I mean, where are they like naturally snails? Are they in the woods?
Yeah, I can find snails like 10 minutes from my house.
In the
And you'll eat it?
grasslands?
Yo, Paulo, you'll eat it
No,
from
no,
the
no,
ground?
No. We have to boil them.
But I'm saying, can you collect them and take them home and eat them?
Yeah, but it's not
The
a good
hunting of
idea.
those are just going to be a lot.
There are snail farms.
Because like, aren't you worried that these are city snails?
No,
we don't need.
there are snail farms.
Okay. Okay.
They have to obey European Union regulation.
Gotcha.
The wild snails, there's no regulations for them.
It's like a snail market. Like, yo, we got some snails from like around the corner. Like,
Snails.
Uh-huh.
Butter
Yeah,
and some butter.
Exactly.
yeah. No, but
Because I
like,
can imagine you dip those snails in butter. Or is that just the French do that?
No, we boiled them in hot water, garlic, and onion.
Uh-huh.
it sounds good if it was some other meat, like chicken.
We have we have a dish where we cook chicken in its blood.
What?
We cook the chicken in its blood.
Ah, let's stick to comics, okay? Let's stick to the comics. Let's stick to comics and toys, bro.
I
Like,
can't
let's
wait
do
to go through final order cutoff for this week. See what new comics I can order. One of the comics I missed at that I didn't order. Let's see, where's my list? Grastonomique #1 from Boom. Amazing Spider-Man 100 facsimile. Murder Hobo #2.
Murder
Sight
hobo. I like
#1. This Land is Old and Dark #1, and Fort Psycho #1. Those are the ones I wasn't able to order because I already
Why
had
are you-
enough comics.
Why are you buying so many #1s, bro?
Because I like to try stuff out. Snail milk.
Ew.
Yeah.
I like
mean,
to try stuff out. I like to see what's good. If I don't try #1s, I'm not getting Dead Samurai. I'm not
Okay.
getting 7 Years in Darkness.
I
Then
have
he's
a
going to
question.
slap them.
I'm
I
not
have a
getting
question.
Shaolin Cowboy.
Well, Shaolin Cowboy's been that's been tried and true.
Yeah, I know that's not really. It's a #1, but it's not really a. I
Right.
would have never got Faceless in the Family #1, which is before this series.
This is the
But
question.
this is the guy I discovered online. He was posting his stuff.
This is the question for the room for all of you. Since you, Paulo, you still collect comics?
Yes.
Okay, so I just asked Jared how many #1s you have, and I'm like, can you afford to?
He
to
gets
make-
collected editions in Portugal. They don't have they don't go to the comic shop like we do because they
Yeah,
don't.
I
go to-
He doesn't have access to the same monthly comics.
Yeah. Well, I can have them, but I sometimes even when Diamond was working normally, they
Yeah.
would miss a monthly box. So no,
Right.
I would have
Thunders
I
rolling.
I have holes in my collection because of it. So I figured out that the most economic way of collecting was to get collected editions only. So everything is
Yeah.
trade paperbacks. All
Yeah.
of these, and a few more. They're under the bed.
Wow.
Mhm.
So my question is, then, don't you guys feel like you're wasting money when with as many #1s as you buy, and then you realize, say you have 8 #1s, right? And out of those 8, you only like 3. What do you do with the rest?
I give them away usually.
Wow.
I've been giving them away to my students for the last couple of years.
Okay.
That's the price of wanting to try new things. I'm okay with that.
See, that's the risk I'm not willing to take.
So at least I'm not wasting all my money on toys.
Hey.
Hey, calm down. Hold on.
Wilson, you gonna let that happen, Wilson? You gonna let him talk to me like that?
Mhm.
No, because he's gonna be sending me some of his toys. So
Yeah.
I don't want to get him. I don't need him to get mad at me. I've heard
Come on,
stories.
But I find it when I was buying just trade paperbacks for a while, or mostly back like 15 years ago, I found that was worse because when you buy one comic you don't like, it's just one comic. But when you buy a trade paperback you don't like, even if it's like discounted,
Right.
oh, you got 6 issues. So
Okay.
it fills up a lot quicker.
I see what you mean.
And I myself have never really disliked a comic.
Yeah.
I would read the book. I would probably usually find something I like about it. And if it's the first issue, I would try it out. Most of the time I enjoy what I read. But, if there's something I know, I'm not going to read this series again, I'm not going back to it, I just flip it on my eBay store. If
Mhm.
it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it's somewhere to be. I would eventually take it down, stack up 25 books, and go, here's a whole lot of books, and just sell them all for like $15. And people will buy them. So I'm not too
Yeah.
worried about having a book I dislike. The only
Right.
book that I've ever read and just kind of called it garbage was the Mighty Mouse trade paperback that Dynamite Entertainment. Like, I was reading it and I was like, I am glad I bought this as a trade paperback, because if I bought this as an individual comic book, I would have felt like that was a waste. It was just such a bad story. It felt like someone found an old script and they
Huh.
decided, we can't make this as a movie. Let's make it as a comic book.
Huh.
And it would have been a terrible movie because it was a terrible comic book. And that's the only comic book I ever read and went, this is awful. I never ran into that before.
Well, there's our balloons. We should wrap it up for the week.
Ah, yes. That
We'll be on
time.
Paolo's channel next week.
That's right.
Oh wow, I lasted the whole way through. Well, no, I got in a little late.
Yeah, you can come on again if you want.
And
Just
you
let
said
me
Paolo's-
know.
Oh, by the way, you know who I'm here with in Japan?
Who?
I'm with James.
Oh, how's James? Well, hold on.
He's
Let's
good.
sign off, then we'll say how's James.
Okay.
So
All right.
everybody have a good,
Great weekend.
have
Happy
a good
4th of
week out there.
July.
We'll catch you on Paolo's channel next week.
All right.